And who would like to see them do just the opposite, getting into far-out situations involving robots and magic powers? So you want a realistic, down-to-earth show that's completely off the wall and swarming with magic robots.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Anime Summit podcast. It's your favorite host, the most Sam, the Bomb. And of course with me this week is Nick.
I was abducted by aliens once. They told me I was going to have a good year.
And,
Just wait for it. You'll get it in a second.
and with us this week, special guest, Kai Clear and Sweet.
Hey, I got a question for you all before we begin. Are you ready?
Okay.
I just want to know if you guys can give me one last kiss. I love you more than you ever know.
I'm crying in the club right now.
I'm crying in the club right now, dude. And Danny is on vacation this week, like I explained last week on last week's little ditty. So she's on vacation.
She's
this
like
week.
actually on vacation too, like doing stuff.
She's doing stuff, dude. It was her birthday, so earlier this week. So go ahead and say happy birthday if you want to. Still, you know, a lot of
It was everybody's birthday this week. I'm salty about that.
It was everybody's birthday. Yeah.
Shout outs to Pisces.
Shout outs to Pisces gang. But yeah, so she is at home. I think it's like a staycation, she said. But like, she's chilling. She's got the week off from work too, I think. So she's having a good time. Plus, it's the perfect time for her to have the week off because we are talking about the Rebuild of Evangelion Tetraology this week. Finally.
Oh, is that what it's called? Tetraology?
Well, it's like trilogy, but four of them.
Tet is 4, right?
Yeah.
I always think quad is 4, but like Tetris, right? Never
Quads. Mind. Yeah, quadrilogy.
Just think of Tetris.
Quadrilogy sounds cooler. I don't know. But yeah, Tetris is a fun game. But that's why we have Kai here.
I'm big into Tetris. Played Tetris, that Battle Tetris. Tetris 100. That was great. Love Tetris.
I like Tetris Attack on the Super Nintendo.
Yeah, which was for the Game Boy.
I'm over Tetris. I think I burned out on Tetris when I was like 7.
Damn.
Yeah, when Nick was a young warthog.
I'm in the minority. A lot of people love it.
Did you know it's the best-selling video game of all time? Tetris.
Yeah, that's upsetting.
It's
old. It's really old. That's why. So.
Do you think there's a Neon Genesis Evangelion Tetris?
There probably is.
Probably. There's a pachinko, so.
That's what I'm saying. Like, they licensed the shit out of that franchise. Boy, I bet it exists.
Don't worry, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is going to catch Tetris in no time. If they get enough Black Friday packages, that's what Nintendo does.
Hey, Unit 1 is in PUBG Mobile. That's a true story. You can get a Unit 1 skin.
Oh, yeah. I'm waiting for Fall Guys. If they put it in Fall Guys, I will buy it, despite that company being really fucking shitty.
They have, shaving cream or shaving razor brand, Evangelion brand.
No, they got everything for Evangelion.
Everything.
It's a fucking huge franchise.
They had Evangelion buckets, and I was trying to get one for Nick, but they're really rare now. Super rare.
How big is Evangelion franchise? It's like top 20 in the world, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely.
Pull up the list.
Pull up the list, dude.
I know Pokemon is number 1.
Yep.
Pokemon's 1. Let's see. Highest grossing franchises. Here we go. Pokemon.
It's got to be up
read
there.
Everything.
And I want to say that like this conversation we're having right now as Nick does this is not a distraction or a side thing. Like this is all like incredibly important to what we were going to say about these films later.
Yeah, it kind of is. Yeah,
it's 11.9 billion is the total revenue. Pokemon total revenue is 77 billion.
Oh, okay.
Is that all time or that's got to be all?
That's all time.
That's not in 1 year.
Yeah, no, that's all time, I think. Yeah.
Okay. That's like lower than I thought for some of these franchises. You would think there'd be like more than that, but I guess it makes sense.
I don't know. What's it ahead of? Just say some other names that Evangelion's made more money than.
Okay, here we go. Now I gotta find it. They're not numbered on Wikipedia, so it's above One Piece slightly. Take that. It's above Star Trek, which is kind of crazy. So I think it's in the top 20-ish, give or take. But it's just below Sailor Moon. Wait, who did Hideaki Anno marry? He didn't marry the Sailor Moon manga. He married somebody else, right?
I have a whole fucking spiel about how everything in
Who did he marry though? He married somebody else.
Miyuki Anno is the well, boy, I have a whole spiel about that too. But
she didn't do Sailor Moon though. Okay.
No, she did Sugar Sugar Rune, which if you see, see in Thrice Upon a Time? Did you see the reference? When Ray goes into the library, there's a poster for Sugar Sugar Rune.
Oh, okay. Got to get that
True story.
Advertising.
True story.
Yeah.
Oh, it's above Angry Birds too. We're above Angry Birds.
We're above Angry Birds.
And Demon Slayer. And The Simpsons. The Simpsons is lower than I thought. That's crazy. All right. Anyway.
So we're just gonna talk about Rebuild of Evangelion. We've been trying to tell Nick to watch it for forever, and then he had said, "No, I'm gonna wait till all of them are done."
I was waiting until number 4.
Yeah, and I want to wait till all of them are done so I can watch them. And then it came out, and then it still took him another 15 years. But anyway, we're here now. So
2 years. 2.
Took 15
1
years.
and a half.
But, like, I'm excited to talk about it. And I kind of am going to just kind of move things along. But, Nick, I want Nick to take the lead because I'm besides, like, the people...
That's a bold strategy, Sam.
The 2 people I know that are, like, the biggest Evangelion fans around me are, Mario, Kai, and Nick, right? So, like,
Wait, did you just say the 2 people you know? Or
3, sorry, 3. The 3 people.
I was like, what's going on?
You, Nick, and Kai, you know what I mean? And of course, some other people in the Discord, but, like, that I talk to often. So I'm excited to hear your opinion about it. So, that being said, links.animesummit.net, that's where you can find all the links to listen, where to party, where to farty, where to hardy, where to shardy. If you feel like you're gonna shart, hold it.
Get a bucket.
And, of course, don't forget Plummet of the Summit 9,000 award show, super 5,005 billion% fudge-coded super show. Okay? You can vote for... Actually, no, you can't vote anymore. By the time you listen to this, you can't vote anymore. Hi!
I voted. Do-it-yourself anime of the year.
I voted too, yeah. Danny doesn't want to vote for some reason, so if anything loses, blame Danny.
If you are listening to this episode right now, the day it comes out, then you have till tonight. If you're listening to it after Friday the 10th, then it's too late to vote. Ignore me. Okay. That being said, if you're turning this on right now from your podcast app, you might have noticed another episode that came out today. EX episode that me and Danny did. It was we kind of had a small window of time to do this with him. But we interviewed Kalani Hubbard, who is an indie film director, and he wrote and directed and produced this movie called Sky Hoshi about this. It's a live action movie, and it's this girl who comes out of an anime poster. She gets isekai'd into the real world, basically. And then, like...
Oh, is that like Recreators?
It's literally... I actually recommended that to him on the episode, I think. But, like, yeah, it's basically like she comes out of the poster, and she's starting to disappear from, like, all of her, like, media franchises in the world, like in the real world. So like they have to try and get her back in to her world, and it's like this indie, funny, goofy comedy romance movie. And so anyway, have fun listening to that. Okay, me and Danny had a lot of fun with Kalani, and Kalani is very excited to hang out with us some more in the future, he says, when he's not busy making movies and stuff like that. So very cool. Have fun listening to that. That being said, I think... Oh, you know what? One more thing. Sorry. One more thing, and then we'll get started. I want to get started. But one more thing. New manga book club schedule. March 12th, so this weekend, in 2 days from now, if you're listening to this on the 10th. Team Medical Dragon, Volume 1 through 3. March 19th is Golden Kamui, Volume 22 to 24. March 26th, the last weekend, is Kowloon Generic Romance, Volume 1 through 3. Okay? So... if you're not part of the Discord, you should join the Discord so you can be part of our manga book club. It's very fun. Nick goes all the time. Danny goes all the time. I don't go that often, but Nick and Danny go all the time. And
I haven't been in like a month.
Oh, Nick hasn't been there in a month, but that's okay.
They did Romance Month.
But Nick goes often, and Danny goes often, and it's really fun. They have a lot of fun. So you guys should get in on that shit. And then you can nominate for next month, and then we all vote, and it's very fun. Okay, listener question of the week, Nick. Let's go.
This is from DigiBruh, and this person is not DigiBro. This is a different person.
Yeah. Yeah.
They posted in our Discord recently, so now we know. They say, with shows like Urusei Yatsura, Trigun, and Rurouni Kenshin making comebacks, which anime would you like to see readapted with a modern flair, and what studio would you like to see handle the production?
Yeah.
I got one if you guys need time to think about it.
Well, you guys have to go first. I asked the question. I'm being polite.
I'm being polite. Yeah, no, Kai, you
Also,
go
I'm
first.
thinking.
Kai, you go
Prepped.
first.
All right. So you know how a couple years ago they kind of reimagined Ashita no Joe into Megalobox?
Yeah.
All right. So what if we took another Dizaki anime and then turned it into something else? Okay. So I, in 2022, just randomly decided to watch Rose of Versailles, which is fucking amazing. It's a great show.
Why would you have to remake it then?
Yeah, that's interesting.
To make it like glitzy, I guess. Yeah.
I don't know. Ashita no Joe's great too. Why do you have to remake it,
capitalism, that's why. But
yeah, that too. It Rose of Versailles never translated into English. It never came out here.
Weren't they working on that? And then I don't know, maybe not.
I said my studio to remake Rose of Versailles or reimagine Rose of Versailles. I don't even know if you change it to like a Shakespeare in space type thing. I don't know.
Yeah, like Count of Monte Cristo.
Yeah, like the Count of Monte Cristo with Hugo Weaving and the Wachowskis.
Hell yeah!
Oh my god, that one was so good. I love that film.
That was the first anime I made my parents watch. What a weird choice.
I'm
like, they recognize the book.
I am going to give the remake of Rose of Versailles to Brian's Base. Shoutouts to Brian's Base.
Brian's Base.
Because they've done a couple shoujo stuff in the past. Like Princess Jellyfish. There's direct references in Penguin Drum to Rose of Versailles, and I'm thinking about that.
So you just want it in that kind of style.
Yeah. I think they'd handle it well. But Brain's Base may be already remaking an old anime with the new season of Spice and Wolf, because they did the original one.
When is that one coming out again?
Yeah, it's a good question. It hasn't been announced.
Oh, was this supposed to be this year? Did it get bumped?
No,
so many things got delayed.
Never any
maybe
announcement.
Not.
So yeah.
All right, Sam.
Bland and Dog. Yeah, it's a cool anime.
I know you love Spice and Wolf.
Bland and Dog.
Sam is a big fan. She loves it.
I came up with this answer a little bit ago, and I think I like this answer because, like, I'm just like I've been cruising, Sakagaboru a lot, studying animation more, and so, anyways, I was watching a cut from The Boy and the Beast, and I was like, yeah, I like Hosoda movies. I always like, I like Aoyama's stuff. I like Toshiyuki Inoue. I love his stuff too. And I think it would be cool if Hosoda did a movie of Samurai Pizza Cats. I would love that very much. Just a Samurai Pizza. You don't need to redo the whole series, okay? Because the original series is fine. But like, how they did that? There was a remake of like Dragon Ball, and it was like Goku as a kid, he meets Bulma, whatever. It was like a remake kind of thing.
Talking about Dragon Ball GT?
No, not GT. It was a movie where it literally was like a. And they only went up to a certain part of it. You know what I mean? It wasn't like the whole thing. And obviously they deviated. There was like an extra thing at the end, or whatever. That it was a different guy they fought at the end or some bullshit. But like, you could just do that, where it's just kind of like the first 30 minutes or like the intro to the Pizza Cats, and then, here's the enemy we have to deal with, and kind of like in the same vein as the Power Rangers movie from 2017, right? They spent they spent a lot of the movie training, and then they fight Goldar and Rita at the end, and you could do it like that, but just like it's same staff who did Boy and the Beast or whatever, and then just do Pizza Cats. There's like we need more Face Johnsons animated by these people. That's all I'm saying.
And you just want a complete wacky rewrite too for the English dub, just like original Pizza Cats.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't mind that. I wouldn't mind that if they just completely like the director, like Hosoda's just like, okay, whatever you guys did last time,
do it again.
Do that because that was funny. Like you know, what I mean? Like yeah.
Your talk of Hosoda has made me think of the episodes Mamoru Hosoda did for Magical Doremi, which made me think, man, Magical Doremi should get more content 20 years after it was made, which actually happened in 2021. Looking for Magical Doremi was amazing. I was just talking to my boy Shabes about it.
I forgot that you love that one.
Oh boy, yeah. Well, hey, last time we were on here, we were talking about Dory as the Anime Summit Magical Girl SmackDown champion.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right.
God.
That's right.
Spoilers.
Spoilers. Nick, what about yours? Your answer.
I don't know. They could do a reimagining of Serial Experiments Lane, but with like modern technology.
That'd be fun.
The rebuild of Lane. There we go. What about that?
Yeah. I was gonna say, isn't the answer of this Evangelion?
Yeah. Well, no, that's not. That is not the answer. Anyway, there's also Berserk because it's never gotten the fully 100% adaptation that's actually perfect. You know what I mean? Even the old one was like the animation was not quite there. So, but it was great. But still, anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Yu Yu Hakusho, because they did Hunter x Hunter, so why couldn't they do Yu Yu Hakusho? You know. I don't know if you don't really need to remake that one, but.
Do you want to hear my Yu Yu Hakusho story or Hunter x Hunter story? Okay.
Yes. No. Maybe.
No. Okay. So, no,
yes.
I'm not gonna tell it now. No. I'm not gonna
if it's
tell it.
5 seconds.
Okay. I said in my video that Kurama was from Hunter x Hunter or Yu Yu Hakusho.
Oh yeah. And every
one of the
comment.
two. And then every comment on that video was just like, they're not from that, they're from this.
You got to put it late in the video so people know. You should do that. Be like, I'm purposely going to put a wrong fact late in the video to see how many people watch that part.
Yeah.
Right. I knew it was an honest mistake, but then I was like, well, it's boosting engagement, so maybe I should start doing that more often.
Yeah, we should start doing that over here. Yeah, for real.
But make it like a segment, because you know how like in Pokemon Unite, Spraggles, he's like, "Here's the mid-video update. How are you doing?" or whatever.
Yeah,
just do that for yours. Like,
I will say, speaking of like new show treatments, that was something that was really cool. And this, you couldn't technically call this a remake because it was its own thing, but it was like a more closer video game adaptation, you could say. But Pokemon Origins, man, when me and Nick watched that and did that episode, that was.
Oh yeah.
God, that was
true.
that was fun.
That was so badass.
There's a lot of
Sun and Moon was good too. The one with Lily.
Yeah,
Oh,
Nick,
yes,
Nick's Pokemon waifu.
Pokemon though, like if you're watching it and like somebody else is in the other room, it sounds so stupid because you're just hearing Pokemon say their own names. You have to be like looking at it, otherwise it sounds like you're going insane.
Yeah.
Well, you've brought up a good point with Pokemon Origins and with this question, because it's like, there's so much media nowadays that, and I don't know whether it's a cyclical thing that everything 20 years later comes around again, but there's so much Japanese media in particular that's coming back again and again. And
yeah, the millennials, they're trying to suck us dry.
Well, it could be, sure, it's capitalism. Yeah, it's the current state of things, but also like I'm just watching Nier Automata, right, which is not even 20 years old, but is now in anime form, and it's a different story. And it's like, I was thinking about making a video about this, right? Like, when you retell something and then you go back a second time, and yes, capitalism, but also, what do you do in that narrative space where you get to re-explore your same story? I was thinking about that in reference to Adolescence of Utena, or, things like that.
Like Rebuild of Evangelion, yep.
Yeah, kind of like Evangelion.
Mm-hmm.
That was the segue. I set it up.
Very good segue.
Thank you.
Segue. Okay, Nick, you do Waifu and Husbando too, because Danny's not here. Shout out Danny.
All right,
Everyone
Waifu
yell at
and
Danny for not being
Husbando.
here.
This week's Waifu and Husbando are Yu Hikari and Gendo Hikari.
It is.
The Mickey Danny voice. She's gonna get so mad. She's gonna
Gendo, the Husbando no one would ever thought.
the Husbando, no one thought. Yeah, dude. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Guy. Were you gonna say
I
something?
just see all these Gendo's like this clear villain, right? And then we see all these people online. They're always simping like, "Ooh, Sephiroth, Daddy, be so mean to me," and all this stuff. Like them being a symbol of attraction. But I never see that for Gendo. You never get the Gendo simps.
He looks too much like he looks like a Quaker or somebody who doesn't use electricity. It's the beard.
My father.
It's the beard. No, he does have cool space glasses though.
Sure does.
Yeah, dude, those space glasses are cool. Anyways,
that is interesting. No, there's a funny Evangelion spoof where it was Gendo, but like all the women were his prostitutes or whatever, like his bitches. I forget the name of it, but it was really funny. Gendo would like answer the phone. He's like, they'd have like the Gendo song that they made up. They're like, dun 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 dun. Gendo is always on time. And like, I gotta link it to you guys later. It's a really old fan parody. I think it's like 20 years old at least, if not more.
Anyway.
Okay. Anyways,
I ship UEX Gendo.
yeah, me too.
OTP.
Yeah, because literally.
That last dude, that shot of them, dude, that is so fucking. I know we're jumping ahead of things, but like, I love that shit when you see Yui in Thrice Upon a Time.
Yeah, me too. Me too. And we will get to that. So, first of all, the rebuild of Evangelion. Okay, we're gonna talk about all 4 movies in one go here, and I will try and move things along. Some of these we don't have to talk about as much as others, right? Because obviously the first one is just like almost shot for shot, episodes 1 through 6, right? But like, I will just kind of break it down really quick, and then I'm gonna just pass it to the two of y'all, okay? But I'll read this from the wiki, and then we can, go from there, okay? But yeah, it was originally presented as an alternate retelling of the original Neon Genesis Evangelion anime series. The first 3 movies were intended to be an alternate retelling of the series. Evangelion 1.0, You Are Not Alone, is line for line, shot for shot of episodes 1 through 6, nearly. Despite the great similarities, some differences are notable, like the introduction of Lilith and then Kaworu on the moon and all that stuff. Also, the angels are numbered differently because of certain things that were changed that you find out in 2.0. You Cannot Advance, which is the second one, continues the story, reimagining of episodes 8 through 19. The differences being new characters, newly designed angels. It introduces Mari, Illustrious Machinami, and then Asuka has a different name as well. Her name is Asuka Langley Shikanami instead of Asuka Langley Soryu.
Is it Shinigami?
Shikanami.
Oh, Shikanami. Okay, Shinigami's like Death Note.
Yeah, Shinigami is the god.
That's why I thought it would be, but okay.
Evangelion 3.0, You Cannot Redo. This is where the film begins to deviate and tell the new story. Taking place 14 years after the end of 2.0. A new organization called Villa is introduced and described as a Nerve, rival. It's like an alternate to Nerve. New types of Evas are introduced. New characters. Toji's sister, you finally see. 3.0 is also complemented by short videos of the short videos Evangelion 3.0 and Evangelion 3.0, both of which are minus 120 minutes, minus 46 hours, both of which take place shortly before the film's story. And then, of course, you have 3.0 plus 1.0, Thrice Upon a Time, which concludes everything that was shown to us in the previous 3 films. So they're also known as Jo, Ha, Q, and Repeat. The final movie using the repeat symbol for like the musical notation for repeat. Jo meaning beginning, Ha meaning middle, and Q meaning the end, but stylized as the letter Q for a quickening. And then basically, Anno had originally intended on making new Evangelion stories since 2000. They were meant as a way to open up the franchise in the future to new creators and turn Eva into like the new Gundam.
God. He's giving it the fucking Star Wars treatment.
He was going to do that, and now that's not the case anymore. Obviously.
Good.
Yeah.
He should have stopped before 2000, but all right.
Okay, Nick. Here
we go.
Here we go. As well as Anno's overall intentions to revitalize what he saw as a stagnant anime industry and acquire funds and experience for future projects. Anno initially began work on what would eventually become Rebuilds films in the fall of 2002, spending nearly 6 months on pre-production before being delayed by various other projects such as Cutie Honey, Re-Cutie Honey OVA, and many things. I mean, these movies, so the first one came into North America in 2009.
Well, just say the original date.
The original date? Okay, the original date
2007.
was 2007. Yeah. And then the second
just
one,
because that's easier to
2009.
do it.
The third one was 2012. And then the fourth one was 2021.
Yeah, that had a bunch of delays. Did COVID delay it like a year, probably?
So it was not only COVID, it was also the fact that he was also working on Shin Gojira and the
Godzilla. Yeah,
he was also a voice actor of the main character of The Wind Rises.
Well, that doesn't take that long.
Yeah, and then,
I saw that in Japan. I saw that in Japanese theaters.
That was, I'm not gonna lie, that was one of the cases where watch the dub.
Yeah,
He's not a good voice actor.
No, yeah, he's friends with Miyazaki, so
yes.
You know.
Going back to the Nausicaa days.
In order to produce the films, Anno left Gainax and founded Kara in May 2006. Together with most of the talent involved in the original anime series, in December 2006 issue of New Type, Anno revealed he was happy to finally recreate Eva as he wanted it to be in the beginning, and that he was no longer constrained by technological and budget limitations.
Oh God, he did the
that's kind of
the George Lucas thing where it's like, oh no, don't give him too much power.
Yeah, there's some element of that. There's some element of just everything. Anno's one of those creators where stuff he says is bullshit, and you can't take his like word of God at like face value. Like,
well, yeah, the death of the author. Yeah.
Well, yeah, he's one of those specifically where like some authors you can kind of be like, oh, they're being serious, but Anno's in the Ikahara camp of like, yeah, I'm gonna say something, but does it really mean that thing? I don't know, and that's one where I would be like, okay, Anno, okay, sure.
But yeah. So, there you have it. I'm,
Okay, before we start, what is the significance of the titles? Because Kai had told us before the podcast.
Yeah.
Just real quick for each title.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's pretty straightforward if you think about it, but I actually have a very old video on my site. Like, before I started creating content that was good, I have a video detailing all about how you can read each one with they have not in parentheses, right? So if you think about Evangelion 2.0, right, like it's all about advancing the character relationships. And there's so many, I have a whole list here of the themes and the how the characters, subtly change in the different scenes that mirror the original series and everything. But it's like progress is trying to be made, but and at the same time, it's not allowed to happen by the machinations of the plot. So it's this really cool thing of like, or like in You Cannot Redo is all about making amends for what Shinji did in the past. And then it's like him trying earnestly to redo everything and pilot the Eva again, but then not being allowed to do that by the story itself.
Mm-hmm. So it's kind of like literal. It's like,
yeah,
it is what you think it is.
Which is why the
it's like the Denny Green thing. It's like they are what we thought they were, and we let them off the hook.
And if you guys like can't tell like just from Kai saying it, but like the word "not" in those titles is in parentheses. So it's
and it's a meme now. Everybody memes it, but
that's not important. I'm talking about the significance of the.
Well, it isn't. It isn't because people meme the "not." It's like you cannot blah blah blah.
Yeah, to you it's a meme, but we're trying to explain the the significance.
Well, to the internet it's a meme. I didn't make it up.
Yeah, well, that's not what we're talking about. But like the point of the "not" being trying to progress, but you can't because you're locked in the what is Eva, right? So like
the most positive one is the first one. You are alone, but you're not alone. The other, it gets worse as you go.
It gets worse as you go.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the Rebuild of Evangelion, man. So I'm kind of, directed by Hideaki Anno, obviously. Kazuya Tsurumaki, Masayuki was co-directing.
Was Yo Yoshinari on this one too?
I don't know if he did some animation. Maybe.
I don't believe so.
Mentioned Re-Cutie Honey earlier. He's probably, I don't know. who all did animation
Just
on this.
curious.
Though, if
I know
we're
he did
talking
like character design, I think, right? Or no, was that him? No, that was somebody else. Anyway,
if we are talking about people that worked on the rebuilds of Evangelion, can I hit you with some knowledge, the deep knowledge? Can I unlock your mind, Nick, because you already know who storyboarded some of Evangelion 2.0? Can you tell me who it is? Go ahead.
was it Ikahara?
No,
because he sat in the hot tub with him one time.
Come on, one more, Nick. Come on,
Masaki Uwasa.
Come on, no, it's not Masaki Uwasa. No, okay, come on, you're so close, Nick. There's like
the guy who did Attack on Titan.
I shout out every time I'm on listening to the Anime Summit podcast, and Nick says this one thing. I'm like, yes, Nick remembers. You remember
Tomino?
exactly what, no, God, you're so
too old.
Come on, open your mind. The one thing I taught to you, Nick. Come on.
I don't know, dude.
It's the director that I always bring up. Come on, Nick.
Hideaki Anno? Are we being really obvious?
God damn it. Okay, I
Holy
thought you would
crap,
have it,
dude.
but you didn't have it. Damn, you didn't have it. Are you guys as embarrassed as I am for Nick?
Hiroyasu Kobayashi. I'm just reading off the
Nope.
list now.
Nope.
Okay.
It is Junichi Sato storyboarded on.
Oh, Junichi Sato. Oh, God.
Yep. Big fail. Hold that L. Yeah, so if you are interested on that, you can go check out my video on all the times Junichi Sato. A big Ano, big fan of Junichi Sato. And everything that would happen on Sailor Moon. You can go watch my video detailing all that.
Yeah.
Also, this one's for Danny. Danny, if you're out there, there's one other storyboarder on 2.0 that I wanted to shout out. It's Hiroaki Goda. And if you know that
Goda.
name, that is the main director, head director of all of Oh My Goddess.
Yeah,
how
there's-
fitting.
There's the borders on 2.0 alone is pretty wild.
Oh, yeah, and there's
honestly,
fucking...
yeah.
I just glanced over Sayu Yamamoto, right? Like... 2.0's got a lot of heavy hitters on there.
2.0's got like I don't even know why Anno did that. He was just like, man, this would be cool. Let's just do
Well,
this.
because people are like, I'm going to get in on this fucking project, dude. That everybody wants
Yeah.
to work on it, right?
No,
Yeah.
I think it is the other way around. I think Ano very specifically is a people person and makes those
Oh, yeah,
relationships.
he's got a lot of friends. Yeah.
Yeah, like that. So I think he asked people very directly to work on it that he respected.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Well, and it's also a huge property, and people were proud to work on it, I assume.
Yeah.
Sure.
I'm assuming a lot. Oh, by the way, that video with the Gendo meme, it's called Evangelion Re-Death, and that was a gag dub from the year 2000. And I saw that not long after the year 2000. I think I saw it in like 2004 or something. But yeah, anyway.
I always assume
Everybody
if a
look up
meme-
Evangelion Re-Death. It's really funny.
I always assume if Nick, there's two kinds of memes, right? There's memes that come from Vines and things like that, and then there's, classic era internet memes. I always assume
Proto
that Nick is,
meme.
I always assume that Nick was into those memes before it was cool, but then like he'll come on the Discord and be like, "You guys seen this Vine?" And it's like, dude, like,
I almost dropped my croissant.
Anyways, so
Yeah.
Nick, start with.
So one of the first abridged series was Evangelion Re-Death. That might have been the first abridged. It was it was like 2 episodes, but yeah.
So Evangelion 1.0, you are not alone. Again, this is a shot for shot, almost pretty much.
Yes.
Of episodes 1 through 6.
Well, it's pretty close. Yeah. The only real difference is, let's see, I wrote them down. There's not a whole lot. It's there's the water, right? Okay. Yeah. The Red Sea, the number of angels, and Lilith is common knowledge. And then Kawaru. How are we gonna say this? I cannot say this guy's name.
Kaoru Nagisa.
Kaoru. There we go. I'm just gonna say that. Kaoru is on the moon at the end. So
The moon
yeah.
has the blood spatter on it, right?
Yeah.
Which you should know, having watched all the other stuff, implies that's the end of Evangelion did happen.
Yeah.
Yes. So this is how are they doing this? They're kind of like, they're not rewinding. They're not going back in time. It's just Shinji is kind of like replaying. He keeps like, no. Oh, okay. Here's what's happening. The Eva pilots, like all of them, are kind of cursed, right? So they're stuck to being 14-year-old in their 14-year-old bodies, right?
Okay, that's a plot point that's revealed in 3.0. In
That's
1.0,
fine. We're
you
spoiling
don't know.
everything.
Okay. I'm just saying, are you applying that to your reading of 1.0?
Yes, I read that like this is like chronological, right? So like Evangelion and Evangelion happens, and then 1.0 happens. Oh, maybe not. Okay. Maybe this is a redo. Okay, this could be like Shinji He's trying to redo what he did when he was in the sea, but it kind of doesn't work that well. Look, this is the thing. I do not know as much lore about Evangelion as the rest of you guys. You guys know a lot more than I do. Ava Geek is like the big forum where everybody knows everything.
Yeah, but you don't need to know. I just want to hear your thoughts. You know what I mean?
Smiling so hard right now. You can't hear it through the internet, but I just want to hear you
talking. It doesn't matter what my thoughts are. It's already been shown what's probably the case.
Time out. That is not true. It does. I think this
my
was created.
thoughts on the plot are not that relevant.
No. I think it is because it's deliberately created to be ambiguous. I think it is very much.
Yeah, it's a little ambiguous.
So how do you read?
Yeah,
it looks like your mind, Nick, and it goes, "I want to fuck that shit."
Yeah. And
Pop
technically,
it's okay
to sexualize characters because they're all like 28 now, so it's fine, you know.
If you're interested in that, you can go watch my video on Beautiful Fighting Girl, which has Rei Ayanami as the poster child, and I talk about the sexualization of Rei Ayanami in that.
Yeah. I mean, that just happens anyway. People don't care. But anyway,
that's 3 plugs. 3 plugs. We'll get more.
Speaking of plugs, how about those new plug suits? Huh? Okay, I'm done.
That's good. I like that. Yeah.
So 1.0, like we said, is very similar to the first 6-ish episodes of the original show, where they originally fight Ramiel at the end, and Shinji gets Rei to smile and all that. And here's the thing: I did not rewatch 1.0 for this podcast, so my memory on it is a little fuzzy, but It's very similar to the show. It's just one of those things to me that's like, I know why they made these movies. They're trying to make money, right? And like Hideaki was he's trying to fix his pride or whatever, right? None of this ever needed to happen. I'm just going to start this out right away. None of these movies needed to happen. Or if we're going strictly by like art matters, which it doesn't anymore, or maybe it never did. Then these movies should not exist, and 1.0 is fine. Like each of the movies is fine. They're not terrible movies. It's just like, why? We already have the original show plus End of Evangelion, and there's that. But I'll just start out with that.
Yeah, I think you've made it pretty known your stance.
I have my mic muted. I'm just smiling so hard right now. That's so you maintain a reading that you were satisfied with the ending of End of Evangelion.
I was satisfied with the TV show ending too. I like both of the endings.
Me too.
The weakness though of the show is like it does not excruciatingly explain like the Dead Sea Scrolls, Lilith, the Black Moon. It doesn't explain like the aliens that are trying to like take over humanity and shit. The fourth movie kind of explains that, 3.0 plus 1.0. And then if you go to Ava Geeks, it explains everything because it's all like subtextual sort of, and you have to figure it out. I would say the plot is not as important in Evangelion as the other strong parts. But yeah, the 1.0, I just like, when did you guys rewatch 1.0 for this podcast? Because like my memory's fuzzy on it. So I mean, it's just it's the show. I mean, it's the show. We've seen the show so many times. Oh man, I will say this though. They did in 1.0. They have the original script. So Shinji says, I think he says unfamiliar ceiling. I'm pretty sure he says that, and he says, "I mustn't run away."
Nick with the script again.
I'm going with the script again. Okay, the beauty of language. Okay, we need the beauty of language.
Everybody.
Okay,
are you ready, viewers?
This is such a nitpick. I'm not a fucking English professor or anything. I don't fucking know, but it sounds better in English to say it like the way I just said it, right? Because in 4.0 they flash back. Not 4.0, 3.0 plus 1.0. Thrice upon a time, they flash back, and Shinji is changed to saying, "Don't run away." And that is just much more blunt and dry than "I mustn't run away." It just flows off the tongue better. And I can't explain why. I'm not an English major, so there. And then same thing for Unfamiliar Ceiling. In the new Netflix dub, he's like, I don't recognize this ceiling. And it sounds like fucking ChatGPT wrote that. It sounds so fucking shitty. Okay, like where's the art in that? It's not there. Okay, so those are just very minor nitpicks, but it pisses me off. So I had to say that. Well, 1.0 they get it right with the script, as far as I know, sort of. They have less time to like air everything out, right? Because it's a movie. They don't have like the luxury of as much time. Oh, maybe they do actually for 6 episodes, right? So 6 times 20. Maybe it is a similar amount of time. For some reason, though, the TV show feels like it has more space. Do you guys know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I kind of get what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's more Ma or whatever, like the Ghibli thing where you just kind of like zen.
Oh, we could talk about some Ma when it comes to Thrice Upon a Time, though.
Oh, yeah, that has it in the first part of it. So, I mean, I remember I liked 1.0.
There's just not that much to say about 1.0. He says,
it's the first 6 episodes of the show. They have some differences. You still see Rey.
The Ramiel fight is
like
literally
the Flash
10 times
Ghost
better
at the start of the show.
No, the Ramiel fight is 10 times better in there. Than
Okay, yeah. I mean, look, the fights are more. They have way more fucking budget, so they can do whatever they want, right?
It's just that scene of Shinji getting back up and dragging the rifle. It's just like, oh god, dude.
Yeah. No,
So
it's
good.
cool. And Ramiel like changes forms and shit, and it's like awesome looking.
CGI and all that.
And it screams like the scream is just like really crazy. Mm-hmm. But it doesn't have the Golden Boy dub actor, so take that. The original show has randomly a guy that you never see who is the Golden Boy dub actor. He's not credited. It's the funniest shit ever. But yeah. So yeah, you guys could take it away. 1.0. What do you think?
Man, I got shit to say about 1.0, but I do want to say something. As you brought up there, something that I wanted to get out here on this podcast is that I don't know why. Maybe I'm just the person that is willing to speak about Rebuild of Evangelion because, I don't particularly like Evangelion. Like, I don't particularly enjoy it. And part of that is I don't enjoy Rule of Cool generally or like action scenes or anything like that.
Oh, maybe you should have started with this. Okay.
So when I don't know, there's like so much of these rebuilds that are just like Hideaki Anno is making some references and moving his like mech figures around on the thing, like isn't that cool? Like it's tokusatsu stuff, and it's all lost on me, and I'm only here for I can only tell you about the
you're not alone.
character
you are
dynamics.
Not
Thank
alone.
you, Nick. That was good. But also I can only tell you about like a certain aspect of Evangelion, so I don't feel like I'm an accurate representation of the true Evangelion fan experience. But I think that's great because Sam does have that background.
Quickly before that, what did you think of the original show? You saw the show and the end of Evangelion, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh,
and what did you think of those?
Yeah,
just very briefly.
There are parts of Evangelion that I love. Episode 24 of Evangelion may be my favorite episode in all of anime. It's up there with the Kill la Kill OVA and the Arya the Trighetto episode. But
is that the Kaoru one?
Yes, Kaoru.
Okay.
Yes.
I can never say his name.
Kaoru is one of my favorite characters, absolutely, and I love that entire thing. I love every part about his appearance in these Rebuild movies too. I just love it when he shows up at the end of Thrice Upon a Time. That said, I very much like episode 25 and 26. I love how abstract it gets. I love how the character issues are resolved. But the thing about that is, like, you have to make the everything plot-wise. You have to make your settings and your actual plot influence your character decisions, right? Or like have that be meaningful to enable your character decisions to happen, right? Otherwise, like, you're just having your character's monologue on the screen, which is rightfully why episodes 25 and 26 were criticized. I understand that, and for that way, I appreciate End of Evangelion for the way that it does connect those themes, those, Hedgehog's Dilemma, do you want to hurt yourself? What do you want Shinji when he's inside of the giant naked Rey and making the decision for all of humanity about instrumentality? I really do like the ending bit of that. However, I think End of Evangelion, I don't like that film at all. I don't like all the art school jank, all the live action footage, all that, the subtext of him on the playground and all.
I like the playground part.
That's I not.
You didn't like the impact, like with Rey and all that.
No, or well, I guess
man.
I mean
Okay.
Giant Naked Ray is cool, and I like the whole "We Are the Words I Love You" with Kaoru and Shinji and all that stuff. That's the good part, but all the rest of it, like the Asuka's fight with the mass production Evas, I think that's stupid as hell. I hate that shit, and I hate body horror too. So when it gets ripped apart, it's all just like, ugh.
Well, you're a very soft fan. You like magical girl stuff.
Yeah, which is why when in
Yeah.
End of Evangelion, which came out a couple months after the final episode of Sailor Moon, you see the exact shot from episode 200 of Sailor Moon, and you know Hideaki Anno is a huge fan and was watching that, and then put it in End of Evangelion, and you're just like, okay, I get it. Or when in Evangelion 2.0, you see the exact shot of Utena opening the coffin at the end of Revolutionary Girl Utena and reaching for Anthe, and you're just like, okay, boy, did I see that back in Revolutionary Girl Utena.
Yeah.
You know, those
It's
are
like
the
an
bits
homage.
that I like, and when it's thematically, you know, it's thematic. In some ways, Evangelion is thematically a magical girl show, and I've gotten up on this soapbox, and I've said this a couple times, you know, and those are the bits that I cannot love anymore. You know, I think are just absolutely pristine. So I'm here to sit through a couple giant robots flipping around on screen if we get to that juicy bit later.
And then Sam is the opposite.
From what I
I'm not
understand,
the opposite.
Not
I'm all
literally,
of it.
not literally, but
Yeah,
yeah.
not,
oh, you
I'm
like
all
all of it. Yep.
Yeah.
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 I'm
I haven't had
Sam.
sex
Let
in
me
4
let me
years, so-
let me Flanderize you.
Could you
Okay.
speak, Sam? Could you speak, Sam, then to the appeal of the giant robot?
Oh my god! Just go listen to last week's
I know.
episode.
Oh,
Okay, quickly though. So you liked Evangelion, the original?
I mean,
You don't have to say
I
yes.
would
You
say
can say no. That's fine.
I would say it's not one of my favorite shows of all time, but I've somehow ended up continuously talking about it again and again and again, and I find that very interesting.
Hmm.
Okay, cool.
Given its presentation of characters and themes and stuff.
Oh yeah, and
Yeah.
just the complexity of it too, right? Like,
Yep.
and this,
Yeah, I would think that you would appreciate the characters the most.
yeah,
Like
I think
in
they-
earlier in the show, not just episode 24, but like the entire show is just like very deep. Like
oh yeah, God,
character
episode
building.
4 when Shinji runs away from the thing,
yeah,
goes camping,
and they almost
with-
didn't make that episode.
yeah, that's a Junichi Sato episode. Did you know that? That's
Yeah.
true.
I
That episode
knew
is
it was like a
great.
guest director. Yeah.
Yeah, it's beautiful. I love stuff like that, and I think there are tons of episodes like that, or even something episodic like Fight Like You Want to Win, where Asuka and Shinji have to fight at the same time, you know, and the whole thing
Yeah.
is just like them learning to get it. And you know, it's that meme of my bitch wife wants to watch Orange, but I want to watch Blue. You know that you haven't seen that meme image? Look it up.
Is that a boomer meme?
It's a recent Eva
I'm
meme.
just kidding.
But no, yeah, I love that for an episodic, you know, just story character show. But so much of Evangelion is like Hideaki trying to do Ultraman and Tokusatsu and making references to fucking I don't know, Mazinger or they told me very specifically, my friends who I watch Evangelion with, they told me very specifically to mention Captain Harlock. And
Oh yeah, that was oh god, the guy who just died.
Leiji
My
Matsumoto.
memory is just gone right now. Yeah, Leiji Matsumoto.
Yep. And yeah, there's some other stuff.
Well, yeah,
too, with Space
Anno
Battleship
grew up on
Yamato.
the
Yeah,
grew up
all
on the
that stuff.
60s and 70s
And
anime.
like such a large part of Evangelion, where there's a totally valid reading that you can do, that like so much of Evangelion is just that, or not just that, but like so much is gained by knowing all that background material and all that references and everything. And it's all lost on me, but I can tell you the Sailor Moon references.
I can tell you this.
Yep.
But that's what makes. I think that's what makes
Yeah,
Eva a great work, though.
exactly.
And
Exactly.
So, I mean, that being said,
What do you think of 1.0, Sam? We're still on 1.0.
no, I mean, I was ready to move on. I mean, I love 1.0. I
Okay.
Yeah, it's
It's one of those like, it's fine. It was good.
So I saw the first two movies in the theater, and watching those in the theater are just, oh lordy, like it just they hit
Yeah, I
me
imagine that's better.
that shit hit different. It hit different for real, and I'm a little upset that I didn't get to watch Thrice Upon a Time in the theater, but my experience watching that with Mario was also really cool. But
Can we say shout outs to Mario? I'm sad he's not here because I really enjoyed being on the Mecha Mayhem where Mary Illustrious Makanami was the winner. And all the insight that Mario provided.
Yeah. Mario, I asked Mario to people I know people want to hear Marmar. They miss Marmar. I have an EX episode planned with him for something that he worked on. So I can't spoil it. I can't say what it is. But I asked him to be on this episode, and he's been in the shits since like Evangelion became a thing, okay? And so he was done talking about it. That was like just real quick before we move on to 2.0 on Nick's thoughts on 2.0, like if you want to hear Mario's thoughts on Rebuild, pretty much, him and I did like a patron exclusive for if you're a patron, and I asked him if I could release that episode with this so people could hear it, but it's been a patron exclusive episode for a couple of years now. But after we watched Thrice Upon a Time, we got together like 2 days later to record like our immediate reactions to it. And that was like his last time talking about it. He was like, I want to let go of this along with Anno, so like I'm done talking about it. And so he didn't want to be on this episode.
The Lost Mario Chronicles.
And I was like, dude, you know what? I respect that very much. Like,
I respect that so much, man. Especially because it's like...
That's what Giga did. Giga made a video similar to that.
The poster for Thrice Upon a Time says goodbye all of Evangelion.
Yes.
You know, it really is the end of the franchise.
Yeah. And we talked about that on that, we talked about that feeling on that episode. And so I asked him, I was like, this is a patron exclusive thing, but I think it might be cool to release it with this. And he was like, go ahead. Like, it's your thing. I'm like, I know, but I'm just saying, because people like exclusive Marmar too, But like, that's been a patron exclusive episode for however long Thrice Upon a Time has been out. So, I mean, I think it's probably okay to release it to the public now if you want to hear that. But yeah, I was like, man, that's kind of cool. Like, I appreciate that. And so I respected that very much. But that being said, 2.0, dude, you cannot advance. Ha. Nick, what did you think of 2.0?
So this one was where it really started the departure from the main series.
This
and it goes up to like episode 18 or 19ish, give or take.
It's episodes 8 through 19. Yep.
Okay.
And then it starts deviating. Yeah.
Oh god, my memory is so fuzzy on some of these too. Oh shoot, this is the one with the watermelons with Kaji, right?
Correct.
The watermelons.
And actually, this is okay. Never mind. I was about to say something dumb. I was like, "Is that the only time Shinji ever talked to Kaji?" No, he talked to him in the show also, but
yeah, he also Kaji actually hits on Shinji in the 2.0.
Yeah. He like jokingly does that, but yeah, it was. I almost want you guys to start on this one. I need to collect my thoughts. Sam, you should just go, or Kai could go.
I kind of don't want us to start. I kind of liked what you did on the beginning. I kind of want to hear it.
Yeah.
No, I literally need to collect my thoughts. That's the thing.
So this one introduces Mari as like a new pilot, new Eva pilot, and so.
Yeah, Mari is introduced. She's not in 1.0.
Yeah, the beginning of this movie is her Eva unit, which is Provisional Unit 5, fighting another angel. And this angel was not like an original angel from the show, and this is kind of one of the things that changes the numbers of them around. The 8th, 9th, 10th, whatever. And then also they show the Tagba base, or Tagba base, which is like on the lunar, which is on the moon. And they're constructing Evangelion Mark 6 on the moon, which is to be piloted by Kaoru Nagisa.
Yeah, they have so many more Eva units in the movies. They have like
they do.
as many Evas as they want, pretty much.
Yeah. And so it's pretty cool. Like, I like 2.0 is cool because like obviously it starts out as that like the familiar thing that we all know, right? And this one had Anno, Masayuki, and Tsurumaki directing, and it's one of the biggest changes that you see in it is the fight with Unit 3.
Oh,
and
where Asuka's the pilot and not Toji.
Where Asuka's the pilot and not Toji.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right.
And then there's all this build up too. Like they're very well aware that you expect Toji to be the pilot, but then they change it. And there's like all this like, you remember this huge like death flag scene where Asuka's like, I never really learned to talk to anybody before, and she's talking to Misato right before the thing, and it's like it's clear as day. You know what's going to happen. It's so good.
I'm sitting there in the theater and I'm like, hold on a minute.
Yo.
Hold on.
Yo.
Wait.
Yo.
Whoa. And I'm just like, it kind of like was that moment. It didn't click right away. And so like, the screen of the movie theater that we saw it at was not. It was like this weird indie movie theater that one of the workers got a hold of it from Japan or something. And like, I was still just like, oh shit.
Yeah. Can I tell you what the best part about that is? I don't know.
No, go ahead. No. Go ahead, please.
But the best part about this, and I watched this, this is my third time rewatching Thrice Upon a Time, but in Thrice Upon a Time, when Asuka finally has her last scene with, or not last scene with Shinji, but like the one where it starts on Mary's boobs with the new the one in the cube. She says, do you know why I was still so mad at you? And Shinji's like, because back then when you were in Unit 3, I didn't try to help you, and I didn't kill you. And I didn't connect that, or like that didn't click in my mind, but it's such a thing. Like it's such a big moment in 2.0, right? The whole Asuka thing and the dummy plug and then Shinji, but it's such a big like character moment for them. In fact, everything in 2.0 revolves around Asuka. So if you guys, I've got a lot to talk about 2.0, but if you guys want to interrupt, please do.
So she replaces Toji.
Yeah.
In that Unit 3.
In Unit 3, yep.
And then
in the show, it's like, I'm remembering the show because like basically all of his classmates and tons of 14-year-olds were just recruited to be Eva pilots, and like Shinji didn't even know that.
Right.
Then I think he finds out like last minute that it's Toji. Like I think he finds out that it's Toji in the plug. And the same thing with Asuka, and he doesn't want her. So he replaces Toji with Asuka pretty much. Right. They're trying to reduce the number of characters because like I guess it makes sense because like, in the movie, maybe you couldn't build up Toji as much.
I don't know. I would say it's kind of more of a bold and inspired artistic choice because of everything that you see with Asuka later on in this show, and also that you see Toji in Thrice Upon a Time too.
Yeah, he's in Thrice Upon a Time, and he has a totally different life.
Yeah,
like,
he has a leg. He doesn't lose his leg or whatever he does. I think it's his leg in the thing.
Yeah. I'm just trying to think here.
So, I mean, I can keep going with this because I think 2.0 is actually the best of these 4 films, and boy, I can talk about it in depth, but it all comes back.
See, I just watched. I feel like I just watched these, and they haven't like ruminated enough, and like it's really fucked. There's like something fucking wrong with me because I don't get enough sleep, and my memory is so fucking bad. It's just like my memory is just shot. So like I'm literally trying to remember what I saw.
Yeah.
And I also watched 2 movies in 2 days, so that doesn't help. But yeah, and I've also gotten like overexposed to Evangelion over the years, so it's just like, oh god. But yeah, go ahead. I will say, in the movies, the characters, it's Demolition D, when he used to make YouTube videos, he made a series of videos on these, and he made a good point that the characters in the rebuilds lack a lot of the hardship of the original series. So you don't get to see like Asuka suffering from her mother in the same way that you do in the show, right? And like you don't get to see their like actual depression and just like despair and everything. They're kind of like almost exaggerated action heroes, especially Shinji, and I guess that's part of the point.
Well, I would
in this, like Shinji, I guess in 3.0 he changes more, but yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
I would take Demo's reading, or the reading that you're bringing forth there, and I would kind of say they are specifically changed, yes, because they have less time, yes, but I would say that the inclusion of something like Asuka's doll insinuates that you are supposed to read Asuka as maintaining all that trauma that she carried over from the series.
Well, yeah. And the thing is, like, but if you take it as a standalone, it's not satisfactory. So you have to have seen the original show to watch the movies.
Yes.
And then this is my core problem, is like, you don't need the movies if you watch the original show. That's what I cannot understand.
Okay, interesting claim there. Interesting claim, and I want to poke more at that because same thing happened when I was talking about Adolescence Food, and I was like, is this intended for a new audience, or is this a retelling or a continuation, right? And I think that this I don't know whether it started out as a retelling, but it certainly became a continuation. That absolutely you are expected to know that Toji should be in Unit 3 instead of Asuka.
Yes.
And like the movie operates based on that premise. So that kind of clues me in that we're...
So I would say, like, artistically and directorially, like, the show and the original movie are better, not counting the fight scenes and the budget, obviously.
Well, hold on, because I think you also made a claim there with Demo's reading that what you took away from Evangelion, or what Demo took away from Evangelion, or I don't know, whoever.
Well, I agree with that point. I felt the same way.
Cool. Then you would say that whatever that pathos was, that seeing Asuka's background and being beat up, or like the whole introspective Shinji like freaking out thing of like, oh, I don't know what I want to do, and being trapped in that one angel, or any of that stuff that gets so much time.
The Dirac spear.
Yeah. Then all of that is a certain type of issue. It's a certain type of mindset. It's a certain type of story, of a character arc, and it's good. I think it's valid, and I think it's enjoyable to watch that character arc. I think that the rebuilds present you with something else, and I understand that. I think that it doesn't invalidate the original content, but
no, I don't think it does. No.
Yeah, but two, it presents something different. So I think it's totally fine to be like, I liked what the anime or the original series was doing more, or that resonated more with who I am and how I see the world. I feel the opposite. I think the rebuilds resonate much more with me. But
yeah, that's fascinating. That makes a lot of sense. Yeah. I mean, Evangelion's very divisive, like the original, especially.
Totally. Yeah.
If you see the world differently, like, you're gonna fucking hate it, So
right. I
get that.
This is why I wanted to.
Which is probably a good thing, honestly. I'd rather have that than some milquetoast thing,
Yeah, yeah. And this is why I like Sam's reading on or what I know of her reading of the Evangelion stuff, because it, like I said, this is not one of my core things that influenced my worldview and stuff, but for people like Mario and for people like Sam, I think it is. I think I'm speaking for them, but I think.
Well, I don't know if it influenced mine, or I already had like the feelings presented in the show.
Right.
Yeah.
And that goes back
and I also watched it when I was like 15.
Exactly. It goes back to the time and the place.
If you watch it when you're like 30 or whatever, like, it's not going to be the same.
This is exactly right. Like, this is the meta narrative of Evangelion, right? It grew up with its creator. And I think that's something that you've already said. And you have all this story of Hideaki Anno's depression and the state of like the production of Evangelion. And these are like widely known stories. And then you watch something like Thrice Upon a Time and you're like, God damn, this is like a different person speaking now, or somebody that has a different
exactly.
World.
And Gegek made that point too in his YouTube video.
It's totally clear. So, and that's why I when you compare the original series to the rebuilds, I'm always like, that's kind of how I look at it. I look at like an evolution of a worldview and changing perspectives as growing up, but it's all meta narrative too, right? Like, it's all self-referential. It's all
especially at the last movie, they literally go into real life
intentionally, and it's so good for it. Yeah.
I just enjoy the direction better in the original show, like how it was put together. Every little piece that was part of it, I feel, made a better piece of media.
There's something,
and so that's why I like it better.
There's some direct examples we can use too. Go ahead.
Yeah, and I'm sure you have a bunch of them. And actually, it's not just a nostalgia thing. Like, I think I would still enjoy the original Evangelion if I had never seen it and I watched it now.
Yeah.
I would fucking love that shit still, because I rewatch it and like it gets better for me every time I rewatch it. It's not like oh, this lost something. You know what I mean?
Wow. So that's
yeah.
what I think is powerful about
certain
art.
shows lose a lot.
Right.
And certain movies lose a lot.
That's what I think is powerful about art, is in the same way that I can rewatch some of my favorite shows and I can say this resonates with me still. Like, this tells me something about myself and how I view the world. I think this really reflects, or tells you something about how you are and how you look at things and what you value.
Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and this is like I mentioned before. This is my problem with the rebuilds, is the characters don't resonate to me. And maybe that's a bad thing for me. Maybe I should be fucking farther ahead or something.
There you go. That self-awareness, that self-actualization. Now you're getting off the train.
But like it's like a yes and a no though, because like it just feels fucking fake. Some of it.
Wow.
And I don't like that. I don't like that.
Some of the rebuild feels fake.
It feels disingenuous. Some of it.
Wow.
Not all of it.
That's
it feels too
claim.
glossy. It's too glossy sometimes. Wow. And this is very general
very
criticism. It's not. I should be more specific.
We got to put Nick on the couch. Like that's a very interesting claim, Nick.
Well, yeah, it's like Parks and Rec, right? Ron Swanson, he's making a chair and he's like, he destroys the chair. He's like, no, this one looked machine made.
Can I just pause for a second and
that's
just
how
interject?
I feel about it.
Can I just interject? Because this whole time, this is the stuff I want to hear. Okay, because this whole time, for the past 15 years of my goddamn life, I've been alive for 15 years. But like fucking Nick has just been like, the rebuilds suck. The original's better because I fart a lot. Whatever, you know what I mean? And then now Nick is telling his actual feelings, and I'm like, fuck yeah, dude. Like, that's hell yes. We have. You're not. It's a lot of people will, and me included, have like yelled at Nick like, oh, you're just a butthole. You're an elitist. You just like to pee on everyone's Cheerios. But it's like, no, like.
Old man yells at cloud.
Yeah. And that's not it at all. You know what I mean? And I think that's like...
I mean, it's like a small part of it. I am biased. Like, I was biased to not even want the rebuilds. I went into it not wanting to like them, and I like them more than I thought I would. Like, they're well-made movies overall, but it's just like, it's impossible... Not impossible. It's really, really difficult to get to the level of the original Evangelion, like how well that was put together. Especially with the limitations they had, you know what I mean?
Okay.
And the limitations actually made it better, just like Jaws and just like Jurassic Park. Like, if they had infinite technology with Jaws, it'd be fucking horrible. Yeah, the shark would be like, blah, like every 5 seconds. Like, it'd be stupid.
If you had more animation, you wouldn't have the elevator scene or the, Shinji crushing Kaoru scene.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Exactly. And those are some of the best scenes in the show, and I want that cell. Yeah, I want that $1 million
cell. The most expensive cell in anime. Yes, I want it too.
Is it really?
I would
it should be.
Yeah.
It probably isn't.
Maybe I haven't tried looking it up, but I'm pretty sure it's up there. Yeah,
it's probably like a Ghibli thing or something else, or Astro Boy. I don't know, whatever. But it could be like Totoro standing on the thing. But anyway, yeah.
Nah, fuck Totoro. I don't like that film.
Don't like Totoro. Kai has no soul.
We have to talk about Ghibli when it comes to.
Is it cloying? It's cloying.
Yeah, it's cloying.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna be honest with you too. I don't even care if we go through the rest of the movies in order. I just want to hear what Nick's overall thoughts are at this point, because like we've already gone way past that point. Like obviously
we're only an hour and 10 minutes. That's not bad.
But I feel like, but no, I'm not that I'm trying to hurry it along, but like it's just that like 3.0, right, is like that's where we now have like the retelling, right? Because the end of the second movie is where the impact happens. The impact that happens in the end of Eva.
Talk about that. I got a lot of shit to say about 2.0 too. So
they changed how that was presented as well.
Sure did.
Yeah.
The third impact that happens at the end of Eva happened at the end of the second movie. But yeah, let's go ahead.
They reused some of the music too. So.
Oh yeah, they did.
Oh, give me wings. Oh, Subaso Kudasai.
Did they do the Kamsus or Tot? I don't remember if they did that.
No, they don't do that. They don't do that. They do.
They don't do that one.
They do what you call it, Ode to Joy. They do that one later on.
Did they do Thanatos in? I don't know. In this one too.
I don't know.
Where he's fighting the angel when it breaks the geofront. It was like with the watermelons.
Yeah,
I don't know. I think they did that a little bit. Music is like so shitty because they get to fucking license it for $1 billion, and it's like I hate that.
So all the English.
I hate how expensive it is.
Hideaki Anno drops all these English songs in there. Anyway, give me wings.
Yeah.
Shout outs to K.
Girls just want to have fun.
That's your AMV that you were.
That would
you're
be
gonna make.
very expensive to license, I
Oh
think.
God, maybe not.
Maybe not,
I want
I
to
don't
say
fucking
that you made a brilliant defense of text or media criticism in general, Sam, and like that's what I like to do. That is my bread and butter. Get at the actual things. What is this? Let's say something. You know, the intro to all my videos on my channel is let's talk about something interesting, and I think like using media to get to know yourself better is why I do this.
Yeah.
I have to talk about themes and characters in 2.0 because it's so good. Food, there's huge food theme throughout all of 2.0. There's the changes that you see versus the series. You see the elevator scene, but Rei Ayanami in the Rebuilds is substantially different already.
Oh, yeah. It's a different Rei, yeah.
Or not even literally a different Rei, and this is what I talk about in my Beautiful Fighting Girl video. Like, yeah, that is the plot of Evangelion, right? It's a different Rei, right? But also, like, it's not the same character that you knew. And this is the title of the thing, you cannot advance. Rei is advancing over the show. She's literally trying to make these bonds and saying, you know...
And 3.0, 4. And in the last movie, she really does, yeah.
Well, that we'll get into that about how it's reset to 0. But then she brings it back, yes, absolutely. But in 2.0 specifically, Shinji cooks for everybody, and that comes back in Thrice Upon a Time. Asuka says that bento that you made for us was so good, and this ongoing thing of food, like Rei tries to set up the whole big plot, and why 2.0 is structured so cool is because Rei tries to set up this reconciliation dinner with Shinji and his dad. You know, like they're actually going to solve the character issues, because at the end of Thrice Upon a Time, the final resolution is Shinji just being like, well, fuck it, Dad, what is your deal? Tell me about it, you know, right? Like that, spoilers, but like that.
Yeah, we're spoiling everything. We already did.
Yeah, that could have happened in 2.0. It was on path to happen, because that Rei was beginning to form a relationship with Shinji, and that she was going to mend that. She was going to play the Yui to Gendo and Shinji. It was like actually happening. And then you cannot advance. Just the random bullshit of Asuka getting in the thing in Unit 3, and then it all goes out. There's even a line where Asuka says, oh, that's the day of Rei's dinner with the test of 3.0. And it's just like, it's so good that all the glamour is going to come across, and it's going to ruin your simple togetherness, and it's just going to shit all over it, and there's nothing you can do about it. And I love it so fucking much. And all those scenes of like Asuka cooking, she cuts her fingers cooking, and then she sees Rei has all of her fingers cut too from cooking for Shinji, and then she like smiles, right? And it's like this like tiniest little thing, and you're just like, fuck, that's so good. It's progress, right? It's character growth, but then that is abated, that is destroyed, that is blown apart by the Evangelions and the angels and all that nonsense.
The world. It's a metaphor for life.
Yeah.
The angels.
I mean, yeah.
You got to get in the robot to fight life. Kind of.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, it's adolescence, right? It's growth. It's progress about, what changes all the fantasy, whatever comes something. It's just being around the other people and appreciating them. Grace and glamour. There you go. Fourth plug.
That's the meme.
Fourth plug. That's a meme.
He said the meme.
Yep.
Everybody take a shot.
What else do I want to say? Oh, we got to talk about the ending of 2.0 specifically, because Shinji. Oh man, do you know what I like? I like that scene where Mary is in Unit 2.0, and she goes beast mode, and it's all this real cool shit. And then she crashes through the shelter, and then Shinji's the only person in the shelter.
Oh, yep.
That's fucking
now
great.
in the show, I think he nobody picks him up. He runs. He just runs to Nerve, right?
Yeah.
Or no, doesn't. Okay, no, he's still in the shelter in the show, right? And then something breaks the shelter, right? Was it still the head of the? I think it was still literally the head.
Yeah.
He had to go himself.
I don't even remember. But Shinji freaks out when he sees Unit 0 being eaten by the angel, and then it gets the body, and it's all creepy and stuff.
Oh yeah, and Rey is inside of it. Yeah. So yeah, Mari helps Rey get through the AT field.
Oh yeah. That's
to
it.
plant the bomb in there, and
so
it doesn't
Shinji,
fucking do anything.
So Shinji won't have to pilot the Eva, and that comes back.
Because they know
in
that's
4.0.
going to set an impact when he does
comes back in 4.0. I love that shit, man. Anyway, the part that I love the most is the whole end of Utna, pull her out of the bullshit, make your miracle happen. That's God, I love it. It's to me, coming from the lens of somebody who watches so many magical girl series, I'm like, oh, that's a magical girl climax. That's exactly what happens. That is in of itself the essence of it. And I know it's like Hideaki Anno interpreting that type of thing of like the grace, the relationship that Shinji has with this Rei Ayanami is so strong that he's going to use whatever fantasy bullshit power he has to make this impossible nonsense happen of reclaiming Rei from the core of the thing. And it's just like such this cool moment, and it's just like this CGI thing of him pushing past the barrier, right, and his like skin getting ripped off, and it's like Ayanami, and she's sitting there.
Oh my God,
it's so good. And then it's like it's Give Me Wings, right? It's Tsubasa Kudasai, give me wings, I'll fly away. That song, right? And man,
no, actually, I should.
Oh, it's from your only favorite anime of all time, K-On! It's the first song they play together as a band.
Oh,
True
God.
story.
I need to rewatch K-On!
True
It's
story.
literally been like half a decade
But
at least.
No, it's a traditional Japanese like folk song, right? Give Me Wings.
Yeah, I assume. Yeah.
And then the
makes sense.
Evangelion grows wings, and Third Impact starts, or near Third Arm Impact starts. And
Oh, I bet so in Evangelion, they literally play like a spoof of that. Or not a spoof, of like a remix of that song.
a cover, yeah.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. I think they also took like a James Bond song, like the drum battle, like the bum 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 bum. I think that's from, I don't know if it's from a James Bond movie, but it's from some old like 60s movie or something.
I mean, there's
A lot of music is like sample. I mean, that's how music
Right.
works. It's just
right, and I can tell you, right, the Evangelion or the Sailor Moon and Utna references, but there's so many references in all these films that I can't even, like, there's all kinds of stuff like that.
my favorite was when Asuka says "Moon Prism Power,"
Yeah, that was going. I like that.
and then she just goes berserk.
So what?
It's Morbid time. Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like too,
So
just
when-
because we're having this general discussion, like we're probably missing a lot of details.
Yeah, we're not going to list every single difference. We probably should have written all that down, but
No, I'm not talking about just differences, but just thematically and. I mean, me and Mario go in depth on our thing, but
so what do you want to talk about then? Like, what do you want to know?
I just want to know your thoughts on Thrice Upon a Time, and like I want to know.
We're just gonna skip 3.0. 3.0 is the one people don't like for some reason.
Too gay.
okay.
Too gay.
Yeah.
Not gay enough.
No, I
Too
mean,
gay or
no,
not too gay enough?
No, just I mean, even 3.0 if you want. I mean, I'm just kind of like I mean, I think you might have already kind of said it, but I mean, I just like. Did you like? Because you had seen the first two already at for a while, and then you had to watch 3.0 and Thrice Upon a Time, right? So, I mean,
Yeah.
what
So
about
we're going to 3.0.
What about 3.0? Yeah, what did you?
Yeah,
think
this
about
one
3.0?
this one along with 1.0. This is okay. So Gendo gets the space glass. Like everybody's totally changed in 3.0, right?
Yeah.
It's 14 years later. Yeah.
Yeah. There's a time jump, and Asuka's like she reveals that she's trapped in that body, and she's older though, and Shinji's all depressed. God, was that? See, 3 and 4 are mixing together for me a little bit because I think 3 was a shorter movie, and then 4.0 was a long movie.
3 is
With
shorter.
2.5 hours.
Yeah.
Let's see.
3 feels shorter too because not much
Because the thing
happens.
is,
It
the
is.
thing
It
is-
is a shorter movie. I would say it's probably the weakest of the 4.
yeah,
1.0
I can agree with
1.0 feels like the Star Wars, not A New Hope, but The Force Awakens. That's what 1.0 feels like. It's just Star Wars: The Force Awakens. They fucking remade it. It's good, but it's not anything adventurous. And then 2 is, I don't want to compare everything to Star Wars, but anyway. So 3, right?
3.
This is Go ahead. Sorry.
No, I just want to get the basic plot is that like Shinji wakes up and then he wants to pilot the Eva, but they do the Wonder launch and they're using Unit 1 to power the Wonder, and it's like
yeah, they have a ship, like the whole world is the Red Sea, right?
And it's all
Kind of.
cord.
Pretty
It's been
much.
cord.
Yeah, it's pretty much
Yeah.
near third impact. Pretty much blew most of it up. But I mean, like,
and like but we should go into the basic lore of Evangelion. It's Seele is this shadow organization, and they're trying to do human instrumentality. So is Gendo, but Gendo is trying to double cross Seele, kind of, because he wants to bring back his wife Yui, or no, he doesn't want to bring her
he
back.
wants to reunite with her. Yeah.
He wants to reunite with her because her soul is trapped in Eva Unit 1, pretty much. And he's not literally trying to Frankenstein her. I think he's trying to, like, free her soul, right? Am I wrong on that?
I believe there's not
no,
enough
that's-
textual information to make that type of
Okay,
distinction.
well, something like that. We're just going to go with my
yeah, that
interpretation.
sounds good enough. Yeah, something like that.
I don't think he wasn't trying to Frankenstein her because, like, they already cloned Rey, and, like, that didn't do anything for Gendo, and that's not what it was about. But
yeah.
So yeah, there's the Black Moon and the White Moons, Lilith and Adam, and so Adam, it's very confusing.
You don't
It's very
have to
confusing,
explain
but
it, Nick. It doesn't make any sense.
Fuck
man.
it, fuck it.
And
yeah,
honestly,
it's like gods.
like
Humans are gonna get defeated by the gods or defeat the gods, pretty much, and they're trying to instrumentality, mush everybody together with a human consciousness and gain the powers and do all that bullshit.
yeah, the giant naked
sci-fi
Ray. You
stuff.
saw End of Evangelion, people. You
Yeah.
know.
And it's kind of cool, and I don't have the ability to analyze that right now. But that's not really the strength of Eva. That's just sci-fi bullshit. It's cool, but the strength is the characters. It's actualization and the thematic elements of Eva, not like what happens. And this is why I don't feel like these movies need to be made, because like you didn't need that from the original show. But sorry, where were we? 3.0.
The
Yeah,
characters.
so this is why you didn't need to say all that. It's just 3.0. Yeah.
The characters, the characters are substantially different. The Ray is not.
They're very different.
Shinji did succeed at removing the Ray from the Evangelion. The Ray Ayanami.
Yeah, he did.
But she is not in the entry plug of Unit 1 when they find him. She is mysteriously absent.
Yeah.
And then so there's a new Ray, and this is just a new, fresh clone of Ray. And this Ray has no emotion. She's totally kudere. She doesn't know anything. She doesn't know Shinji. She only does what she's ordered to do. And
Yeah, she always says, "Is that an order?" Yeah.
and so the character arc is like, it all got all that progress. That advancement that they had in Unit or in 2.0 is done, and not only did Shinji loot, or like the machinations of the bullshit plot like keep Shinji from getting his catharsis and his happy ending by his miracle of saving Rey, but
And he can save her because he's connected to Unit 1 as an Eva pilot and as literally the son of the Eva.
fucking whatever magic bullshit that they want.
And that's what Asuka does too with her Eva. Like, you can't pilot an Eva unless you've been hurt by the angels or the Evangelions, pretty much, and you're a child of a certain age. That's like how it works. I know it's like a meme. The Gundam pilots have to be young, and so the Eva pilots do too. So
Yeah, traumatizing children.
But yeah, you can't pilot the Evas unless you're traumatized, which is why Rey, she doesn't have any trauma, she can like the Eva wants to fucking kill her, like in the show, because she's like an outsider. She's not right for that, It's just it rejects her, like the wrong blood type of thing. So
Good episode. I like that episode.
yeah, where it's banging his head on the wall. That was
that's a
awesome.
cool scene. 3.0. So the Shinji Rey dynamic is reset to 0, and then Shinji doesn't know how to cope with that. He has no Eva to pilot, and he's in the.
And they put a choker on Shinji, and actually all the Eva pilots, they put a choker on him, which can be kill them basically.
The DSS choker. Yeah.
If it's not Nerve, the new organization run by Misato
Villa.
and Ritsuko.
Yeah. Villa. Yeah.
Yeah, Villa, and they're against Nerve. They're trying to defeat Nerve and thwart them.
Yeah.
Yeah, they got a giant fucking battleship.
Yeah, they literally call it the Yamato, I think, or the Yamato.
The Wunder,
So
Wunder.
It's called the AA Wunder. Yeah.
No, they have. I think it's a Yamato Drive or something. They have something
do say
named
the word
Yamato. I forget what it
Yamato.
is,
They do
but
say the word
you have to say Yamato. If it's a Japanese ship, you have to say Yamato. That's the rules. I don't make it up.
No, but what I want to say is that Shinji is also, not only did he like fail ostensibly at saving Rei, even though he succeeded, but he doesn't have the. I guess he failed because Rei doesn't remember him. It's also like he's enemy or persona non grata. He's like public enemy number one. Like he fucked up the world, and everybody holds him accountable for it.
But he also saved the world, so like they know that. They're like, yeah, they hate him, but they love him. I don't know. Because like they would all just be like soup. Like they would be gone if he wasn't there.
Well, the thing about the main theme of 3.0 is, as I am to read it, is moving on or atonement, I guess, or the ability to make amends, or the ability to redo things that went wrong. So in Shinji, in pursuit of all this, getting all this blamed for all this shit, and then his failure ostensibly in 2.0, is like set up to I guess emotionally manipulated is a better word, right? To then go pull the spears out of the thing and cause the third impact again, right? Or fourth impact.
Yeah, the Lance of Longinus. They pronounce it Longinus, which I thought was hilarious.
But before that, to enabling that, we have to get to Kaoru.
Yes, and this is Kaoru's movie, pretty much.
Pretty much.
Kind of.
Pretty much. How did you like everything that was on screen throughout that film, Nick?
Oh God. This movie was definitely a lot more introspective than the other movies. There's a lot, and it's way different from the show.
Yep.
Like not even at all the show. So it's kind of the same too, because like Shinji, there's parts that try to remind you of the show. So like Shinji finds Rei's little room that's just like a couple of curtains, and she still has like the jug of water and like the bandages and like nothing in her room, and she just stands there.
Yep.
And he sees her naked. It's just like the same thing. It's a callback to that. Gendo is still talking to Seele. This is where Shinji gets essentially captured by Nerve, and he's talking to Kaoru and Rei, and he wants to figure out what Gendo's doing, and of course Gendo won't tell him. And so he basically befriends Kaoru again, and they play piano, and that's kind of like the main. That's like the thing that people think of when they think of 3.0 is them playing piano.
Yep.
At least for me.
And how did you feel about it? Like, did it move your heart? Were you drawn in by Kaoru's? Did you?
No, because it's so weird. Because like again, I watch these movies one day after another, and it's better for me to watch these in like a shorter or in a more leisurely pace. And then also I kind of know what's going to happen, and like I'm just like Mario, I'm not the same as Mario, but like I'm almost over it. Like I know I've already been like actualized from the original Evangelion. I don't need any more. So seeing this again in a different way, in just like a more glitzy way, doesn't do anything for me. It feels like I was saying before, it feels fake, it feels capitalistic. It's well made. It's not. I'm not going to deny that, and there's definitely things here they do that Kai could explain that they don't do in the show, because you actually have more time with Kaoru here than the show. In the show, he's only in it for like 20 minutes. That's it. But yeah, and like for example, like Kaoru's death, like Shinji doesn't kill him this time. It's much less impactful because it's just like this really over the top, like he dies from the collar, he explodes in blood, and it's cool looking, but it's not as impactful as Shinji having to do it. You know what I'm saying? Like
I do. That's certainly a reading of it. You were saying I think you're presenting them in a way that they run parallel, or that you're thinking about it as a remake. I'm kind of looking at it as a continuation. When I'm seeing the Kaoru relationship develop, I'm seeing like, oh, these people actually, like, Kaoru actually is still going to be Shinji's friend, and they're just like, oh god, I love
Yeah.
that relationship being built no matter how you do it.
Oh, like his friend in another life.
like again,
So that
all the
is like
coffins
that
on
is
the
touching. I
moon,
like
you know,
that.
and you're like, God, in whatever lifetime they meet or whatever circumstances they would.
That's some
still
shonen
be,
shit, dude.
Yeah,
We'll be friends no matter what.
exactly. Like they, you know,
Choking me up.
Yeah, like God. And there's a quote. I only have a couple notes for 3.0, but like one of them is, "This isn't another child burdened by fate, and this isn't the happiness you were hoping to find." And like, man, Kaoru's self-awareness, his stuff, and just like seeing them meeting again, and so this goes to the death scene, right? Like how it's presented there. Well, first off, Kaoru literally takes the burden of the explosive choker from Shinji and puts him on himself. Like that's a powerful way of saying that, or a symbol just in and of itself. So yeah, it's more Kaoru deciding to die, right? And you can kind of interpret episode 24 like that. But I want to say
He did the same thing in 24. Yeah.
But I want to say that I think of it more as like the plot, and the same thing as the end of 2.0. Like Shinji was trying to have some relationship. He's trying to have a miracle. He's trying to atone for what he did. And then the plot just comes along and fucks him again. Just like straight up, you cannot have this normal happiness, Shinji. You cannot have a lover or a friend or anything to be, you know, to help you at all. You cannot redo this, and it will always end in tragedy. It's like it, and I think that's how 3.0 is. I agree that 3.0 is not that great of a film, or well, not that great of a film. It's satisfying
comparatively.
Yeah. I don't like it as much, and I think it's like it's just read throughout the entire time, and it's got, you know, it's a little too.
Well, it's
bold.
connecting into the last movie.
It's bold. But then if you think about it, like 10 years after the next movie was 10 years after, so
it was like I think it was 9 years.
Not like they planned Thrice Upon a Time when they made 3.0. I still.
Wait, was 3.0 going to be the last one? I think they had planned 4, didn't they?
No, they always planned for 4. So like
right. But they didn't know what they were going to do it for.
But it was weird because like when people saw the second film, the first 2 films are basically the whole show minus the last 2 episodes.
Right. Yep.
And End of Eva, right? So like, but instead of
the third one is like the last 2 well, no, it's not. Never mind. Go ahead.
No,
the third one actually. The third one is like episode 20 until 24, right?
No.
It's not, but it is. But it's not.
No, it's just not.
Because the thing is, it has the part where Shinji and Kaoru are going down into Nerve, right?
There's some references,
which is in the show.
Yeah. There's references. I mean, there's
so
references.
it's a retelling of that. It's not that, but it's like a retelling of it.
I would say it's more of a reference and not really a retelling. But like it because.
You're right. You're right. It's not retelling. It's not retelling. They're advancing instrumentality even further, basically.
I would interpret it as these actors are fated to play these roles, or they're burdened by this fate, and they, you know, there's some degree of you can't escape this, you know.
Like Duck from Princess Tutu.
Yes, hey. Don't get me started, Nick. Don't pander to me.
Yeah, much like Anno was burdened by.
Exactly. It's so meta narrative, right? Like it's so, and it's the other thing we need to say about 3.0 before we move on. It was such a huge fucking middle finger to everybody. Like it was just like all of a sudden 14 years later,
just like End of Evangelion.
They won't let Shinji, pilot the Eva, and just like no one knows what's going on, and you know, and people were so. I remember when it came out, people were just like so. I don't know, miffed by it, I guess, or so discontented with 3.0, and you know that's fair. It's weird, and the gay piano memes were just everywhere. Yeah, you know, and I like that too. We were talking about, you know, the ending of Wonder Egg Priority being this like kind of like having no catharsis to it, and I think 3.0 is kind of like that. It's like deliberately spitting in the face of people that wanted some cool stuff.
It blue balls you a little bit.
It totally does. Yeah.
I think people were kind of wondering like, okay, but if this part happened at the end of 2.0, then else are you gonna say?
Exactly. Yeah.
And it turns out to be this whole new thing. And it's like, I don't know, it's weird. It's like you didn't understand that when you were watching 2.0, it was going to be different. But like, I really at that point, then for me, it was just like, okay, well now I just got to see what happens. I gotta know how you're going to close this out, because by the end of 3.0, after Fourth Impact happens, it's just like, how much further. When is like it's kind of like you kind of want to straddle, you kind of not straddle, but you kind of want to strangle Gendo and be like, when is it enough for you? You know what I mean? And it's like, Gendo to Ano is kind of like this weird entity that's just like, it's almost like Gendo can be like, I can do this every time. Like, I'm just gonna do this every time. You can reset this as many times as you want, but I'm just going to do it.
Well, yeah, it's all according
time.
to the Keikaku.
Yeah, he's playing Drosselmeyer.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get you.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's from Death Note pretty much. But yeah, he's very singularly driven in his love for his wife, because they explain it in the fourth movie why, which you already knew that without having to see the movie. But
so
anyway.
Thrice Upon a Time makes 3.0 retroactively a much better film, I would say.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
the fourth movie made the rebuilds better.
Yes, I agree.
Yes.
For sure. Because if without that, like, if it would just be kind of like, even like, I would be very upset if they didn't have the fourth movie.
Can I say that 3.0, I looked this up, has a 20% fresh on Rotten Tomatoes?
Jeez.
Oh, wow. It has like a 7.5 on Mal or something, or 7 point something. 20%. That's hilarious. I actually like that. I like that because that's how Evangelion should be rated.
Yeah, sure.
It should be 20%.
I like it. And yeah, it's one of those media.
Yeah.
It's some of that media that makes you feel bad. Yeah, it's the good stuff.
Mm-hmm. So, what were your thoughts on Thrice Upon a Time, Nick?
So this is like the culmination of the rebuilds and of Evangelion, of Shinji's story anyway, until they Star Warsify it and make a spin-off for everybody. I hope they don't ever do that. But yeah, so this one, like, Shinji is all fucking depressed because like he had to take out, well, he didn't kill Kaoru, but like he's not supposed to pilot the Eva. Like, the world is like essentially ended, but it's not, because like, here's my only question. They start out the movie and they're like, everything's red, but then there's this place that's not red, that's like green still. It's held at bay by like plugs, right? By like some sort of like not AT field, but like some sort of barrier.
That's correct, yeah.
And this is where Toji and Shinji's classmates live, except they're adults at this point.
Yeah.
And so Shinji, Asuka, and Rei go and live with them, and Rei learns what it is to be human, learns like human emotions, and she learns like to, she has like her own self-actualization in this setting. And then Shinji is just like being depressed as fuck. Like, he doesn't do anything. He's like the lowest of the low and all that. As they say in the new dub, I'm the lowest of the low. Which, actually, that's like the least offensive change, I think.
The one that gets me is, "You are worthy of my grace." All right.
Yeah, you're worthy of my grace. Down. Oh, God. Just say I love you. Jesus Christ. Actually, lowest of the low is kind of shitty, too. I'm fucked up. I'm so fucked up is such a meme. It's still better.
Yeah, it's a great
Yeah, every decision in the old scripts is better than the new scripts. But yeah, so yeah, like, they're in this village for like the first like quarter, like third of the movie almost.
I see it as 3 parts. There's 3 parts, and the first part is...
Yeah, there's 3 acts. It's a 3-act story, right? They're setting it up, they're knocking them down, and then there's like the catharsis at the end. So, yeah, and actually it is very sad what happens, because like we're spoiling everything. So like Rei dies from her collar, and Shinji sees it, and this finally
she decomposes.
Snaps him. Yeah. Oh, was it her collar? Like, am I misremembering that?
They have a line of like, well, that model was incomplete or wasn't able to maintain its form or some bullshit.
She decomposes because she needs constant exposure to LCL, and she.
That's right. Because
Yeah.
it's Rei. Yeah. Did she still have a collar on? But
I don't.
Oh no,
remember.
she turns in tank straight up. Okay.
Farm girl.
Yeah,
Ray,
yeah, yeah.
Best
Okay,
girl.
doesn't matter. But yeah, it's cool. Yeah, Ray was like, that was like a touching moment. And then there's this theme, this recurring image of the the audio player that Shinji listens to, right?
Yeah.
And this
Yeah.
is throughout the whole series, really. And apparently, like, there's a little Easter egg, like he's listening to a different numbered track compared to the TV show. So there's analysis on that, but he finally like snaps out of it, and he goes back and you know, they're
Before we go on to the rest of the film,
go ahead.
I want to take it in 3 parts. And how did you feel about that first part? About they chose to put on screen for like 45 minutes or like 50 minutes, just like
yeah, it was like 45 minutes.
like a straight ass Ghibli ass like we mentioned Ma earlier on, or just like Ray learning to live in this village in this tiny little life in this very quaint way. They have a fucking montage of just her everyday life, farming rice and everything. How did you feel about the decision to put that on screen?
It's kind of funny because like I want it, but I also don't want it. I don't know how. I think they probably had to do it to characterize her more, because this is a new Ray, and they have to show.
Can I jump? Can
to
I take that and I run with it?
Yeah, go ahead. I have an idea, but go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, so Ray at the start of 3.0 is reduced to nothing, not even a character. And then this whole process is like Ray learning to be someone and how to interact with people and have emotions and all this, you know, very simple human stuff and the value of all of that. Then you couple that in with just the setting and it being all these very gorgeous backgrounds and scenic shots of all this nature and stuff, and it's all in this little bubble in the apocalypse, you know. And it's this theme of, you know, how do you, after everything is ruined, after everything is taken from you and there's nothing left, what do? How do you keep going? How do you, after the apocalypse happens, how do you get up the next morning? You know. It reminds me very much of one of my favorite shows, Sound of the Sky, which is exactly about that.
Oh, yeah.
And so yeah, Ray learns all this stuff. There's all this.
They sing songs.
Yeah, like yeah. And then that part of the film just ends with Ray popping, just being like, "Hey, I did it. I learned. I became a person. I saw the value of humanity and interacting with other people." And then pop.
Yeah, then she's like, "Come holler at me at the bottom of the gobbledygook sci-fi Black Moon."
Yeah,
I think it's the Black Moon.
Yeah, then it turns into plot bullshit, technobabble time.
Yeah,
yeah.
The next third is this big battle. Like they go, Nerve and Villa are battling, right? And they're trying to do instrumentality and do another impact, I think. And again, this is all for the purpose, secretly, to save Yui, to get rid of her soul from the body of the Eva. Pretty much, that's kind of it, and also to save humanity from these aliens, which, yeah, that's kind of what it is. And that's that whole third. So yeah, Misato and Ritsuko and that organization are battling up. And what I think is cool is like they tie scarves around their arms. They're blue like the old ocean.
Yeah.
Because they want to bring that back. They want to believe in humanity's tenacity, you know, to survive this.
Yeah.
And I thought that was cool. Like I like that. And then all along the way, actually, Asuka, like we didn't really mention it, but like Asuka was kind of like down in the dumps too in the first third of the movie, and her and Shinji and Mari, like, they talk it out a bit.
There's a great quote in relation to that, where Asuka said, or they like, "What are you doing, or why are you not working in the village, Asuka?" And she's like, I protect these people. I fight for them," or something like that. And then the entire Ray arc is learning to live and not just fight. And that whole dichotomy is, Asuka has no desire to just live. Yeah.
That's true. Yeah, and that's her character too in the show as well. Yeah. Like where she wants to only depend on herself and not, and basically wall herself off from other people with. And they say this too. It's like the human AT field. It's not literally an AT field, but it's like the hedgehog thing. It's like you're blocking people out, right? and people do it in different ways. Like Shinji wants to get close to people, but when he does, he hurts them. So, and Asuka doesn't want to get close to people, so she's like prickly and she's a tsundere and all that. So there's more to it than that, but I'm simplifying. But yeah, this whole third of the movie, they're just fucking going for it. They're going to the Black Moon. Yeah. They're doing some bullshit. Futsuki's standing there in some radioactive tunnel, like TV station thing, and they're building another Lance of Longinus. There's 3 different names for the lances. They call it like the Lance of Gaia or something.
There's the Lance of Longinus, Lance of Cassius, and Lance of Gaius. Yeah.
Yeah, Longinus, Cassius, Gaia. Yeah, and so
Gaius
they build it somehow.
Gaius is actually in the Wunder. It's inside the Wunder. But yeah,
it's the spine. Yeah, that comes in the later part though.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So this whole like second part is setting up that third part of like the final battle. Like they're battling most of this part. Like,
this is the Harlock shit. This is like the battleships are like being pulled on anti-gravity strings, and they block the lasers, and there's like port bow hit damage unknown. It's just like
they're shouting on the bridge. They're like, activate this to put all the fucking power to the shields, and and then they're doing the Star Trek thing. It's really.
And then
fun.
They have the Eva fan service where Asuka and Mari go into the thing, storm the Nerve HQ where Unit 13 is going to be reactivated, and
Asuka rips off her eye patch.
Mari has a whip or something, and Asuka's like, I'm an angel now, and you're like, all right, I don't know.
I'm just saying Mari can whip me anytime.
Oh my god. I agree.
Hopefully in the pattern of Funny Valentine, so I have an American flag on my back. What was that laugh? Oh my god!
I was looking down at my phone, and it didn't click for me for a second. So
Dude, how badass would that be? We need a president with an American flag whip scar on his back.
I was about to say something, but then like I started laughing because it clicked. Sorry. Anyway, yeah. So yeah. I mean they. Basically, the world is pretty much taken over by Nerve, and they're only being slowed down to their goal because of Wunder stopping them at every turn, including the beginning, when they restore the Paris, division.
Oh yeah, we didn't mention Unit 8 throwing the Eiffel Tower at the giant mech Evas.
Hell yeah.
Cool.
Fuck the French,
The
dude.
Unit 8 with the orbital gear was literally one of the coolest fucking things I'd ever seen, I swear to God. Yeah. Just like...
Well, it's cool to throw buildings, That's awesome.
It's also cool to throw buildings.
I was born without a rule of cool bone in my entire body, so...
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's cool. It doesn't make me like the movie. It's okay. To me, it's like a tattoo. Like, tattoos can be cool. They don't make you look better, though. But they kind of do, but they kind of don't. Does that make sense? I don't know if that makes sense.
I love it. I'm going to be thinking about that metaphor for days. Do you want to get to part 3, or do you got something to say about part 2 here? What's the CGI?
Yeah, I mean, they fucking went all... I'm curious on the budget of this film. There's a lot of shit they're doing here.
I have that up, actually. Hold on.
Go ahead and look that up. Gendo has his space glasses again. Okay, so Misato gets shot because one of her crew members, one of Shinji's, was it classmates? Kids, I think.
Oh, was it?
Anyway.
The budget was $20 million.
Damn, that seems low. I guess you could do a lot.
I mean, they underpay all their fucking animators. What do you think?
Well, the budget for the first one was $7 million. So
Wow.
That was in 2007, but yeah.
Oh, true that. Never mind. Go ahead.
So yeah, that shot, a reference to End of Evangelion, right? It's one of those things of like, no matter
an Eva reference.
Yeah, referencing Eva. One of those things where like, no matter how many times we act out this play, Misato will still take the bullet for Shinji when it matters.
Mm-hmm.
She'd take a grenade for him, just like the song.
Then Gendo has some like bullshit of like, I am Nebuchadnezzar, and then he was like,
Nabancho Dancho.
I don't remember what's said. And then they're like, but we have to trust Shinji. And they're like, okay.
Yeah, Gendo like forsakes his humanity to accomplish the mission because he gets shot by Ritsuko. She shoots him. And one mention I would say, in the rebuilds, Ritsuko has no character. She's just there.
Again, I would say
in the show she's very deeply
Yes,
written.
yes,
Like
yes,
it's
yes.
awesome.
I would say it's all assumed from the show in this.
I know you have to. That's
Yeah.
I get it. But
I get it too. Yeah.
And in a movie you can't have too many characters too.
Yeah,
You know, like I get it, but like okay. Yeah.
Her stuff in the series is very good. Yes.
God damn.
Anyway, it becomes a surreal trip. The third part of the Thrice Upon a Time is fucking nuts. It's like,
yeah, they're going into like this like abstract like dimension kind of with Misato's ship and the Eva as a nerve, and I think Adam and Lilith are there, and it's just like they're in the Black Moon, right? Or they're attacking.
doesn't matter. At some point, like
I don't fucking
yeah,
know.
they're like, this is the anti-universe, and you're like, okay, yeah, sure.
The
But this is how this is like the only place they can change fate, basically.
The anti-universe
That's
is
what they
where Shinji and Gendo are fighting.
And this is where they can enact instrumentality finally, because it takes multiple impacts to do instrumentality. You have to purify various aspects of the world and humans. It's like first it's like the sea, and then like the sky, and then like the souls, or
They have a
something
line
like that.
Yeah, they do. But
Yeah, there's a line in there where they say that. It's a multi-step process. They gotta let the dough settle overnight.
Mm-hmm.
So what did you feel about when the movie went from being action battle thing to whatever the end of Thrice Upon a Time was? Like, what do you...
So yeah, Shinji finally confronts Gendo, and Gendo has an AT field, and Shinji hands him the music player, and then they go into the train, which I love the fucking train scenes in Evangelion, by the way. These are great because like it's introspection, it's symbolism because it's a train. You know, trains symbolize a lot of stuff. I'm not explaining what they symbolize, but it's you get to see directly like why, like what Gendo's motives were, like why he loved Yui so much, because he himself was similar to Shinji as a kid. Like he shut himself off from the world with the music, and so did Shinji. And finally, Yui broke him out of it, and you know he cared about her for that. And then like when she died, he couldn't take it, and he couldn't bring himself to raise Shinji because he had a reason for it. It was a shitty reason, but he had a reason. Yeah, what am I trying to say? What was his reason for not raising Shinji? Because this is kind of important, I think.
I mean, the death of Yui traumatized him.
He says something like,
it was like punishment or penance or something.
oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I thought I could atone for doing that by not.
I could atone by not raising him. That is weird logic, but okay.
That's the point, right? Like you gotta understand or meet him where he's at.
I think I do want to understand that. Like there is something to it, but yeah, it's like on the surface it's really shitty, and it is shitty on the surface. But like,
but now's not the time to be judging him. Now.
Yeah, no, I know.
Yeah.
I'm not.
I'm not judging him. Like, now on this podcast.
Crazy
but
world.
like Shinji when he's listening to this, the entire thing is informed. We skipped over all the cool stuff of like the sound stage and everything, and the surrealist stuff to go right to the resolution of the character thing, where Gendo literally says they fight like Unit 13 and Unit 1 are just going back and forth and fighting, bow, 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 bow.
And it's almost like remakes of the original series
totally
where they're
Yeah,
fighting.
it totally is.
Yeah, they're going back and doing that. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And he says violence and fear are not the criteria by which our conflict can be resolved. It's like the most clear, like beautiful thing of like, this is bullshit. It was always bullshit. All the fucking mechs fighting each other was always bullshit, and it doesn't. We're not gonna.
That's why he's so calm all the time.
Yeah. Anyway, then it goes into like Shinji finally being like, "What's up, Dad? Like, tell me what happened. I want to know." And that's just like.
And they have their own squiggly line moment.
They do. It obviously is referencing episode 25 and 26.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So like, are you getting some catharsis there, Nick? Do you feel like that's an adequate answer to the problem of?
Well, yeah. I mean, this was as good as they could have ended it based on the rebuilds, right? Or close to it, anyway. But okay. I'm not saying it was perfect. I'm saying it was a satisfying rebuild ending.
Okay, that again.
You sounds like you disagree with that.
Yes, I do. Definitely, Sam. I don't know how you
Oh,
feel about that.
you think it's unsatisfying. You
No,
think it was a bad ending.
I feel that it's a satisfying ending to all of Evangelion.
To all of Evangelion. I know
that's
what
what I
you're
was
saying.
gonna
Well, you
say,
qualified it
But
very
I-
specifically as an ending to the rebuilds, which
Well, because like I said before, like I don't think the rebuilds needed to be made. In a perfect world, if I could fucking redo like Shinji and just rewind time, I'd be like, fuck this, no. Fuck capitalism. We're not gonna make more money, you know. We're gonna be the number 50 franchise instead of the number 20, you know, like
yeah.
but that's not realistic. That's what I fucking hate. Like I'm so fucking like black-pilled and jaded now. Like anytime there's a Disney remake, anytime there's they're bringing back a franchise, like I fucking hate it so much because like they do this thing like, and they did this in Magic the Gathering too. Like they're bastardizing stuff, and Evangelion doesn't do it. Evangelion does a good job. Like they stay pretty true to what Evangelion is, but it's just unnecessary. But like you have other things that just butcher it. Like I mean Velma, like people hated that show, although it might be kind of
the fourth Matrix movie had the similar thing where they're like talking directly about like having to make this or WB is going to do it itself. But I kind of push back on you. Like, yes, there's something pure about the original ending, and there's something inherently imperfect about continuing the franchise, or it's been corrupted in some way, the artistic intent of whatever the original Evangelion was. But I think there's something beautiful too, and I think like a lot of
there is
of the rebuild are all about that type of finding that beauty of like, we can't go back and fix it, or we have to do this, or we have to push forward, and it's meta like for Anno's state of mind, right? Because in the original show he was all depressed and all shitty. And so that's what I want to say. Like, end of Evangelion is like Shinji's.
In the rebuilds, he's grown, he's changed.
Right. Or episode 25 and 26 is Shinji. Like, congratulations, Shinji, you figured out your own deal. This is Shinji literally asking his father what his deal is and trying to understand that. And like that's like a different perspective. That's a different growth. That's a different thing. And like we were talking about earlier, like I totally understand that desire to see that self-reflection and that self-growth, but I think there's something even more inherently powerful about it being
finally connecting to your those close to you, like in a real way. I get that. I just feel like the original already did that. And I've said that a bunch of times, so I don't want to repeat myself too much.
No, and that's
But as far as like
going to drill down on more of the tang of end of Evangelion versus this type of thing, and what is that?
Yeah, and I think the end of Evangelion did need to be made. I do think it did need to be made, and actually I think end of Evangelion is also imperfect in a lot of ways. But I don't know. Nothing will top the show. I'm just going to keep saying that. But as far as rebuilds, like they did about as good as they could have on the rebuilds.
I mean, they bring back giant naked Ray in this scene. Like, she doesn't have her arm or her neck's cut off, and like it's all creepy.
I think it looks worse.
I think it looks worse. Creepy
because
as hell and terrible, right? Like, oh god. Right? Like it's a facsimile.
Well, there's something lost because it uses all the CG stuff. It doesn't use the hand.
Well, I don't think it's intentionally supposed to look good.
I know it's supposed to look otherworldly. I get that.
Super fucking creepy.
Yeah. How do I say this? This is probably my favorite of the rebuild movies. The fourth one. I know you like 2.0. What is Sam? What do you think? What is your favorite rebuild if you have to pick one?
If I had to pick one, it would be Thrice Upon a Time.
Okay. And it has the highest score on my anime list of the movies.
Yeah. I mean, because
it was a good ending. This is a strong ending, especially like the ending song, and it transitions to real world and all that.
Oh, we're jumping over a lot of the stuff that happens in the ending too, but yeah.
Yeah, and
we got to the main points though.
I had said.
We missed something. Yeah.
I had said in the beginning that we were going to spoil, so it's fine. I'm sorry, Kai. What are we missing? All right.
Oh man.
Well, Yui,
because I'm probably I'm probably about to say it right now.
Well, there's all that shit with Masato doing the big damn hero self-sacrifice moment to get him the spear, and then
going down with the ship.
Mary's in there throwing the spear to him, and then Kaoru, he has like a long talk with Kaoru about apologizing.
Kaji does.
Yeah, when Kaji comes back, too.
So I was about to get to all that, because and I'll just tell you this, okay? And this is why it was impactful for me, and I might be repeating my thing from my discussion with Mario, but I'm just gonna release that with this. I don't care. I would just get triple content this Friday. So after the second movie, me and Mario talked about it for a while, and we kind of were like, is this remake actually supposed to be a continuation? And I was like, what? No, I think it's just a remake. And Mario was like, no, think about it for a second. And like, we actually thought about it, and I was like, holy crap, that'd be really cool if it was. And so this fucking movie, Thrice Upon a Time, comes out, and it's like, hey, guess what? It is. You know what I mean? And so like, all these things start getting tied up, right? So Asuka admits that she has feelings for Shinji, and then it's like, okay, let's go to Antarctica. Let's go stop these motherfuckers once and for all, because the key to everything is Unit 13. We have to put in this suspension plug in 13, and it'll stop everything. They won't be able to do what they want to do, whatever, right? And then it turns out that like Mari's real name is Maria Iscariot, which is like, Iscariot was like the last name was Judas's last name, and he's the one who betrayed Jesus.
Mary, obviously referencing Mary Magdalene.
Yes. And so
and the religious symbolism did have a point. It wasn't just because it looked cool.
Yeah.
I think apparently the only thing that was just for cool was like the title.
Yeah, and then it's revealed that the Asuka that we were seeing this whole entire time in this rebuild and in this reality was actually part of a series called the Shikinami series. And then all this crazy stuff. And then, of course, the confrontation with Shinji and Gendo, which Eva fans have wanted for years, okay? And this was said. This was told to us that Anno had said, I want to remake these because I do want more money for future projects, yes. And I know people are going to eat this up, but now I also get to want to retell this in the way I wanted it to be told. And I'm going to give hella fan service in the last movie. And that's literally what he did. And I just didn't expect him to give it the way he did. He fucking gave it. And when it happened, I was like, holy crap. And so my experience watching that with Mario at his house, we went to Mario's house to watch it. And me and Mario kind of like, before he hit play, I kind of told him to stop for a second. I was like, wait, can you just not hit play for a second? I just need a minute. And then Trisha's like, what's the matter with you? And Mario's like, well, I mean, yeah, I'm going to wait a second. Because me and Mario were like, this is it. Because after we watch this, that's it. We're not going to experience Evangelion for the first time anymore. And whatever, right? Yep. So like me and Mario took a minute, and then Sudi and Trisha and Rob are all sitting. Rob is Mario's brother, half brother, and they're all just sitting around like, what's wrong with you guys? It's like, dude, shut up.
Oh yeah, because Sudi's not big into Evangelion. I lent him the VHSs at one point.
Yeah, he doesn't like it as much as me and Mario do.
That's fine.
So,
I mean, not for everybody.
Yeah, Sudi was just Sudi, Rob, and Trisha were like, okay, you guys are weird. It's like, no, just give us a second.
It's kind of interesting because I almost feel like this would be perfect for Sudi.
No, he doesn't know anything. He smells.
But like, he smells.
But yeah, this clearly means a lot to you, and I totally understand that.
Yeah, and then so it gets to that part, and Gendo tells him like, okay, maybe the reason I did this to you is because whatever, I had whatever fucking going on with me, whatever. And then he hugs the child Shinji and he walks away, and then you find out that the thing that they were fighting on was a movie set.
Yeah. Oh.
And then it was
all the artifice. Oh God, I love it so much.
And then Ray reveals,
like Truman Show almost.
Truman Show, dude.
Kind of, not really, but.
And then so they realized that this thing that they were doing was was a rewrite of the world, and that the existence of the cycle is like the cast is trapped in this cycle, and so it's up to Shinji to release them from this, using like being real with his feelings, and so
self-actualizing and getting through the trauma and connecting to others, pretty much.
So, because like it's done. He doesn't want to do this anymore. Okay, like let's move on. You know what I mean? We're done with this. And so then he meets with all the pilots again. And he meets with Asuka and says, "Yeah, I liked you too. I was into you too, and whatever." Yeah. And then he meets with Rei, and then he meets with Kaoru, and then Kaji tells Kaoru like, "Yeah, you don't have to like build your whole personality around Shinji. You're your own person." Yep. Yeah, and the older
Kaoru tears up. Yep.
Yeah, and then so he says to Rei like we can build our own happiness. We can forge our own happiness. We don't have to do this thing that Gendo's talking about. You don't have to listen to that. None of that shit is weird. Like, he's weird, dude. He's a weirdo. We don't have to fucking do that. We can do this again, but we can do it without the angels. And we can do it without AT fields and without all that stuff. And then so he makes a Neon Genesis happen.
Yeah, they
define it. Yeah. Dawn of a new era.
A projector screen of all the title cards and flashbacks of all the previous bullshit in Evangelion, and then he literally drops the title of the thing. And Rei says, "Oh, a Neon Genesis," and you're like,
"Yeah,
fuck."
And then Robin Williams shows up. This is what I don't get. Sidebar. How the fuck does Robin Williams not know how to pronounce Evangelion? They say Evangelion in the fucking show.
We should.
I think even in the subtitle they say Evangelion. They don't say J. It's not a fucking hard G.
We should ask Zelda Williams. But that's not for here nor there. Let's stay in the moment.
All right. Maybe he never watched it. Maybe he's a fake fan. Okay, maybe that's it.
Okay, anyways. And then they go forward, and then it pans to a shot of like them zooming out, and
it deconstructs it, right? Like, it literally deconstructs the anime.
Oh, you said the magic word.
It fucking does deconstruct. Not even like meme deconstructions.
I know.
It literally falls apart.
Remember when people got all mad at that?
Yeah, I know there was a whole era of deconstruction. But anyway, it literally falls apart before your eyes. Not only the artifice of them playing these roles and things, and then, the diegetic distance of them actually showing that it was all just an act and a performance all along. Like, Evangelion was always just putting more distance between the viewer and yourself. But then they show Shinji sitting on the beach, and like it goes from the full-on animation to like the keyframes to the storyboards to just scribbles, and you're like, fuck, it like falls apart right before your eyes in so many different ways.
Mm-hmm.
And then
live action.
And then it pans away into actual Tokyo. Yeah.
Well, no, you're skipping over the good shit. Then Mary comes up and jumps out of Eva 4, and then she's like, "Thank you very much, Eva," and all the Evas go away. Oh, and we forget that part where.
Wait, okay, who was Mari again? Was she the child of somebody?
She actually worked with Yui and.
Right.
So she's the child of somebody.
I don't remember.
She's not the child.
No, I don't think so. She just was there when they were doing the shit all the years ago. No, yeah.
But anyway, yeah, Mary jumps out of the thing. Oh, and then we forgot the thing where Yui comes and okay, so Gendo's final resolution is that he looks at Shinji and he's like, "Oh, that's where you were, Yui. That's where you were all along." And like that's an emotional moment when he realizes that Yui was always in Shinji and it's never God. But then he has the whole.
But you knew that the whole time. You knew Yui and Shinji were connected.
I know
from early in the TV show.
Yeah, no.
From episode 1, you knew it.
No, that's not what I'm saying.
If you rewatch it,
that's not at all what I'm saying. I'm saying Gendo realizes that his entire objective was reconnecting with Yui, and then in this metaphorical sense, he finds Yui within Shinji, and who he had abandoned earlier.
Yes.
That's his like moment where he's like and then he walks away and he exits. But then you see. Yui, Shinji's about to like sacrifice for all this, right? Like to make his new world come true. And then you see Yui, who we never see and never has any line throughout the entire franchise, come in and then, you know, hug him and push him away. And she operates Unit 1, whereas and Gendo is in Unit 13, and they both like plunge the spears into themselves. And like that symbol is just so pristine. It's so choice. It's just like such the moment. And you know, that's why we gave him the couple of the episode, right? Like, ooh, that hit me when they do that. And then you see the
well, it's a win-win too, because she's protecting him and she's freeing herself
and reuniting with Gendo.
Yeah, exactly. So it's a win-win, and like I think that was the plan all along. And I think Gendo knew that. I think Gendo knew every single thing all along.
I would say,
but he just didn't. He didn't want to say it to Shinji, and Shinji had to like confront him about it.
Yeah, maybe Gendo knew that Yui would have been in Shinji all along, or that he was wrong for not raising his son, or that he
definitely knew. That's why he had him pilot Eva Unit 1.
No. Not that Yui's soul was in Unit 1. That's everybody knows that.
Okay. Yeah, everybody knows that. Yeah.
No, that his wife, his lover, his soulmate could be found in his son, or he could connect to her through that relationship that he denied himself.
And that's a powerful.
That says a lot.
Sentiment. Yeah.
And then you're missing over the best part is like they cut back or like Mary flips out and you get a wet t-shirt Mary, and she flips her hair back and it's great, it's beautiful. And then the next scene is Shinji sitting on a train station platform. And then you see it in a modern Tokyo sense. You see
they're adults.
You see adults. You see Kaoru and Ayanami, and you see the train come by, and then Shinji's still wearing the choker, the explosion choker, and then Mary comes by and is dressed as an adult. She just takes the choker off of him, teases him. He reciprocates back to her. This is like my favorite thing in the entire film, when he teases her back, and she says, "You smell like an adult," and she takes the explosion choker off of him, and then she says, "Come on, Shinji," and she reaches out her hand, and they grabs a hand, and they run up the staircase of the train platform.
This
together.
is what I was trying to say earlier.
It just said it pans out into the real world. Like, come on.
I know.
It's like,
I have a headcanon. The headcanon is that Shinji is Ano and Mari is Ano's wife. And I know that wasn't actually them in like acting it, but I'm pretending that's them. They represent.
And that's like a very prevalent reading, right? Like, I think almost everybody could read that.
Yeah, probably everybody said that.
Yeah, and Ano has gone on record like,
or it could be the audience too. It could be the
audience.
No,
it's pretty obvious because of like how Ano changed over the course, and if you know Ano's history, like this is a very well established thing of his and how what Miyuki, I think her name's Miyuki Ano, did for Hideaki, and how she's just like, and it matches Mary so well too, right? Like this reading, like Mary is not a character in these things. Like she participates, she does things, she's active, but she doesn't have an arc,
No, she exactly. That's what I'm saying. I want
to do a video about it.
I don't understand why that's. But I don't understand why that. I feel like that's a flaw though. Like, is she just like a meta thing for Ano's like, oh, you need another waifu? Here's one. Well, it is.
That is a reading. He said, that's I wanted to introduce Mary to destroy Evangelion. That's a quote, right, Tom? Like that's the thing you've heard before.
Yeah, destroyed by the waifus.
But yeah. So he's a parody of the waifu and everything. But also that no, I love how she's not a character. It's not her fucking story. She's a supporting player in the role.
That's probably better.
She has no crisis. She's not Asuka. She's not,
Yeah, she pilots for fun.
Yeah, like she's not a broken character. She's just a normal fucking rational.
Here's the question:
being.
how does she pilot?
No, I'm not dealing with that. She's not a fucking broken rational human being that is thrust into this like story, this fantasy story that is surrounded by all these crippled, emotionally dead husks of human beings that don't know how to express any feelings or anything to anybody. And she's just here, and she's just like, okay, angels, bullshit. All right, we got it. Let's go. And then
Oh, she's a
That's
normie.
what I'm
She's
saying.
just a normie.
Yeah, and that's Miyuki Anno,
Yeah,
right? Like
yeah.
Miyuki Anno
Yeah,
is
yeah, yeah,
not
yeah, yeah.
clinically depressed. She's not neurodivergent in any way. She's just kind of a normal girl with big boobs who saved Hideaki Anno by all accounts, right? And that's why I love Mari, and I love her so much for everything that she brings to this series, or that for them including a character like that to this series of like.
It feels very fourth wall breaking.
Yes,
That's the thing about it.
exactly. Yeah, it's metadata.
Yeah, I
right?
don't inherently
Yeah.
like fourth wall breaking.
Well,
though.
no, it's not saying it's a direct reference to Miyuki Anno, but just it's fourth wall breaking
I
in the way
appreciate
that
what it is, yeah.
it is not something that belongs in Neon Genesis Evangelion as it exists in the series. She does not fit into this story.
I understand that's the point of it, and it makes sense logically, but it doesn't. It's weird. It doesn't like emotionally touch me the way that the other characters do, because she doesn't have struggles. Like, and this is the thing. Like, the normies don't appear to have struggles. They do have struggles, but like, if you're somebody who's struggling, like, it feels like nobody else fucking, everyone else is perfect, whatever, right? Kind of. So that's the flaw I find in it, even though it makes sense, like, in the story, like, it makes perfect sense.
I'm gonna go into another thematic rant here in a second, so if you guys want to say anything, get it out there.
Sam already said stuff. I guess I can. Yeah,
but
I don't know.
no.
Go ahead.
That's exactly right, Nick. Like, that is what I believe, and I told this to Sam back when the movie first aired and when we first watched it. Like, this is the post that I wrote on there. Like, Shinji and Asuka and Rei and Misato and everybody that was involved in this crazy story and this play of Neon Genesis, and then all the tears that they cried together and all the struggles they went through together and all the bullshit that happened, like, that existed and that was real and that defined them, but it didn't have to be who they are, and they don't have to live their lives in accordance with it. It was just bullshit that happened. It's in the past, and I love so much how offensive, I guess it is, or how avant-garde it is to just make Shinji end up with Mari, who's not this predestined person that he should have been with or that he struggled to get together. It's not this catharsis, because that's real life. That's like sometimes a pretty girl with glasses and big boobs just comes along and is just who you end up with, and that's just it.
Oh no, that sounds terrible.
And you could have had this relationship with Rei. You could have had this fantasy miracle romance thing pulling her out of the Eva, but it didn't end up that way. And
no, I never saw that as well. He never was romantically interested in Rei. That's a nitpick, because he never was.
I don't know. Or Asuka.
That was shipping. That was fan shipping. Him and Asuka though. Asuka, yes.
Asuka then. Yeah, so that's like a thing that fans wanted for so long, right? That's the end of Evangelion thing. That's them strangling each other, right? That's the and we had this idea in our heads that it has to be this way, and we wanted that so bad, and then we hurt each other and we struggled and we fought and we loved each other and lusted after each other, and that was all real and valid. But at the end of the day, I couldn't save you and I couldn't be that person for you, but I respected the time we had together, and that's it. And we can move on and we can go live lives separate from this bullshit plot that we were put into, that this play that we made to act out, that fate put us together. That doesn't have to be who we are. You can just go out. You can just go touch grass. You can go live your fucking life and do whatever.
How dare you? Don't tell me to touch grass.
And that's why I love the rebuilds more than the original.
You must have had a
series.
hell of an ex-girlfriend.
That's why I love the Evangelion as a series, or the ending to this as a franchise, because it's not a catharsis. It's a wake-up call.
Yeah, and the original was too, though. That's what I'd argue. I will say, though, I'm coming around, and I think that the rebuilds do have a purpose, and it makes sense. Yeah. I just think that the original is better, and I agree with. I agree with everything you said. It is a wake up call. I would say it is also cathartic. It's very cathartic. Like, it's just not like, oh, your ship sailed or whatever. Like,
Yeah, it's
But this isn't a
no,
harem,
no, it's
so
that quote
it's
from
fine.
it's that quote from 3.0. Like, Kaur says, "This isn't the happiness you are hoping to find."
These aren't the droids you're looking for.
Because that's what I was gonna say too, was I didn't really know what to expect with this ending. You know what I mean? When Anno told us fan service or whatever the fuck, I assumed it was just gonna like, you know, have that. Okay, here's the final battle. Kill you 9,000. Okay, everything's fine. And I thought they were gonna have to like rebuild the world from Village 3
lame.
and whatever, you know what I mean? Yeah, I don't
It
know.
just turns into slime isekai.
I honestly was kind of like almost somewhat also going into it thinking like, oh, well, okay, well maybe the ending is not going to be that satisfying. I don't want to get my hopes up too much because I love Evangelion a lot, and obviously like I understand that it might not be how I felt, you know, when I watched End of Eva for the first time, right? But it gave me something that I didn't know I needed until I saw it. And
The audience is never right.
it was, yeah, well, I mean, it was very clearly like, I very much heard Anno say loudly, like, I'm ready to go, and you should be ready to go too. And I was. I didn't want to be. Okay? And me and Mario didn't want to be done. And obviously, I could consume more of it if there was more of it, which I know there's not going to be anymore. And that alone.
See, that's the difference between me and a lot of people. Go ahead.
No. That's what I was gonna say. For you, it was at End of Eva, and that's fine. And episode 24, 25, 26. For me, I went into it thinking like, oh, I love Eva so much I could consume it. I could consume it all the time. Until somebody had to tell me that's enough. And Anno told me that was enough. And I was okay with it. And I was like, I was more than okay with it. I was happy with it, actually. I was like, you know what? That's true, man. Let's walk off of this set and just leave these characters alone. Gendo's done. Shinji's done. This is the world that Shinji put for us now, and we can, like, move on. Like, I can move on from this. Now, Are you saying... Am I suggesting that I'm going to stop buying Eva models and wall scrolls and all that kinds of stuff? Hell no. I'm still going to buy the shit out of all that stuff. But, like... Yeah, but as far as consuming the story, and if there's any more to tell, I mean, there really isn't. Yeah. Like
no, and yeah, go ahead.
I think for me, it gave me the more I wanted after watching End of Eva, and then after watching Thrice Upon a Time. You know, I was like, okay, no, like I hear you, Anno. I'm done too. Like if you're done, I'm done. That's enough. You know what I mean? And maybe Anno's plan wasn't to do that, but I think the production of all 4 films just together, you know, was just so long and drugged out. And I think he, from 2007 to now, he's obviously changed as an artist. You know, for me, like there might be things I want to go back and change, or things I want to go, but like maybe 10 years from now, I'll want to redo Fist of Summit with new characters that aren't the 3 of us, and without Smokey and all that. Maybe I want it to be its own story and be its own thing, and not some meta Anime Summit podcast commentary, right? Maybe I won't. Maybe I'll just do it the one time, and I don't know. I'm as an artist, I change all the time with what I think is cool, what I want to do, what I like to consume, and things like that, right? And I think in the 20-some fucking years, or 15 whatever fucking years that Anno was working on the rebuilds, you know, maybe initially he just thought, I just want to remake the series and make it look cooler. But then when he did what he did and started doing what he did, he thought, okay, well now I got to tell this whole new story, and I think I'm going to tell it the way I want to tell it. And then by the end of it, he was just like, I want people to feel how much I want to let this go and how much I think they should let it go. And then that was it. And I think that was something I didn't know I needed till I saw it. And it was a very nice surprise. And it made my heart almost too full that, like, I had to cry. And I'm kind of, like, about to cry right now, so I'm trying not to. But, it meant a lot to me. And he didn't have to do that. And you know what I mean? Like, he could have given us some other more whatever expected ending, or he could have ended it some other weird way like he did with End of Eva or episodes 24, 26, 25, 26. But, like, I'm glad we got the ending we got. And that was my experience with it. And as much as I give you crap about it, Nick, about how much, oh, well, you should like it if you're an Eva fan or whatever and blah, blah, that's absolutely not true. And obviously I'm just giving you shit because we're friends and whatever. But, like, I think it's really interesting that you took it the way you took it, Nick, and I think that's really cool. And as an Eva fan, I think it's, for you, I think it's cool that you're able to consume up to a certain point and love it just there. You don't have to do it beyond that. And I think
it's like the Costanza thing. It's
Yeah.
like you make one good remark and then you're like, that's it for me. You leave the room.
Yeah, and I think as a fandom, more people should not be so divided on it. People should just accept, like, how me and you accept each other's taste on it. Like, it doesn't make you less of an Eva fan than me or Kai or whoever else. In fact, I think it makes you more of an Eva fan because you understand. It's almost like you understood Anno's perspective the first time and you don't need any more. And I respect that. I think that's really fucking cool, to be honest with you. So
Yeah. And I mean, I got more respect for the movies as I think about it because I like I said, I haven't had a lot of time to think about it. But
sure.
Yeah, I think you're still right though. Like, I'll always put the series above everything else. Yeah, the movies do have a purpose. Like, it makes sense that they're made. I understand why. It's not just like a black pill capitalist thing.
Yeah,
like,
it's a different message.
They do have a reason. It was a good reason. The fourth movie really tied it all together. That saved everything. Yeah, so I'm just trying to think how you would even improve it. But yeah.
I think at the very least you just enjoyed how cool it looked too, I suppose, right? But I mean, like,
I prefer the hand drawn more. Honestly, I like the roughness. I like how if you look at it on Netflix, I like how that looks.
Yeah,
like the Blu-ray version of Eva. You know.
Yeah. No, I respect that 100%, and I think it's really fucking cool. And I am finally glad that you experienced Rebuild, even though you didn't come out of it the same way I did. I think it's cool the way you came out of it, to be honest. I like hearing your thought on that, and I like that it's different from mine. At the end of the day, though, fuck you. The Rebuilds are better.
Oh, you think they're better than the original show? That's fine if that's what you think.
No, I mean,
I don't even know that I would say that.
I don't even know if I think that they're better. I can't even tell.
I would certainly say I like them more, but I don't know that I would say they're better.
I think you guys need to watch the show again.
I mean, it's about that time. Like, if I'm looking at my calendar right now, like, it's about that time. Around this time, normally I'd be playing through Mega Man X 1 through 6 again, you know, because I replay it every year. But I think it might be Evangelion time, so I don't know.
Just don't watch it on Netflix, for the love of God.
No, I have the box set. I have not the platinum one, but the black one. I have the black box set.
I think that's what I'm really mad about is the Netflix thing. It's not the Rebuilds, it's Netflix.
Nick said, can we talk about the localization again?
Yeah, God. Stay in your fucking lane. I don't know if it was Anno who did it. I don't care if he did it. Stay in your fucking lane, okay? You can do one thing. Shut up and dribble.
Shut up and dribble.
Serious? I'm serious. If you're a fucking artist, shut up and dribble. If you're any kind of entertainer, shut up and dribble. Like, I'm not talking basketball, but anything. I know they have a platform. I know they want to be.
I don't know. I don't know.
Get it, but it's like
you get your politics out of my art. I don't know that that's the topic we want to go to right now.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying, like, do your art, but, like, make it as good as you can. And then, like, if you are not a native English speaker, let the people do it. I know you have a message you want to do, but, like, Kara or Anna or whoever, I don't want to be all negative.
Yeah, I would say
they got all nitpicky and they got really heavy-handed in the translations on Netflix, and that pissed me off.
And for 3.0 as well.
A lot.
Like,
and
that's its own story.
It fucking really hurt the final product, the way they did that script. And sub or dub, the script was fucked up.
It's undeniable, yes. Like, yeah, that's totally clear. But
that's like taking Shakespeare and translating it to Japanese. And I'm not saying it's as good as Shakespeare, obviously not. But, like,
I want to stop you. I want to stop you here.
I'm going to go to Japan and I'm going to tell them how their language should sound.
All
It's
right,
like, no,
all right,
that's
all right.
fucking insane. That's fucking insane.
But I want to.
You have to translate it directly. Use an AI bot to translate.
Segue
Okay,
here.
go
Let me
ahead.
get to it.
I like the rebuilds.
Yeah, so I like the whole meta narrative of Evangelion. Like I said, this is not one of my favorite anime, and yet I enjoy it so much, and I was definitely crying at the end of.
I mean, the way you talked about it just
3.0.
now.
Absolutely, it's affected me.
Oh yeah, I got a little frog in my throat. I got a little pepe.
But yeah, no, and it's part of that is just the entire narrative, the meta narrative of Evangelion, of how you have to know Anno's depression, you have to know Nadia of the Blue Waters, you have to know, all these references to fucking Ultraman and everything, and you have to know
just skip the island.
You have to know like the 3.0 dubbing controversy. You have to know all the response that people didn't love the episode 25 and 26. Like you have to engage with this narrative in this way, and then to have thrice.
It's not a media property. It's
exactly.
a lifestyle.
It transcends just 26 episodes and 5 movies. It becomes it transcends even the capitalism of it. It just becomes the most definitive reality in the Lacanian sense in modern Japanese media fiction. And it becomes this wild ride that you have all been on for the last 30 years now. And it's just like to see it all resolved just with such finality at the end of Thrice Upon a Time. And just to walk away from it like Mario did, and say, they're done with it, I'm done with it. It was fucked up the entire way. In the story itself, everything that went along with it, it was a crazy, messed up journey that we all went on together. And now it's part of who we are, but you move on. It's over. Just go on with the rest of your lives. Live your life.
Yeah, go watch Rent a Girlfriend. Consume product and be excited for next product. No, yeah, that's right. I agree with Kai. I like the use of the word laconic. That was really good.
If you check out my Beautiful Fighting Girl, I talk about Lacan's different multiple modes of consumption and realities. Yeah.
Oh, I keep forgetting that's a person.
Jacques Lacan. Yeah.
God.
I keep forgetting that's a person. Oh, man. Anyways, very cool. Very cool.
Whatever you do, though, pirate the original show and movie. Do not watch it on Netflix. I'm not joking.
Remix of like
I'm not kidding.
The Blu-ray disc with the original dub.
Yeah. No, they do. Yeah, you can get a Blu-ray quality with the original dub or subs. Subs are also great. Go ahead and watch the subs, but the dub's great. Anyway, yeah.
I think it's really cool, Nick. I'm glad you finally got to experience the rebuild of Evangelion. Everyone out there who's been yelling at Nick, stop yelling at him. Okay, we were getting to it. Okay, we had to delay this episode a few times because of some other shit. So that was also our bad.
I apologize for being that person.
Well, we kept having seasonal stuff like the Summies and stuff. So
yeah. Once we're past, I'm excited to be past some of this award show stuff. With the 9,000 super fudge coated super mega show, Blue Eyes White Dragon, 5,000 coming up. After that, we'll get back. We're getting back to business. Okay, back to watching anime, reviewing porn, that kind of thing.
Touching grass. Maybe I should go touch some grass.
Yeah, I mean, I should probably touch it more than Nick's probably been touching a little bit more than I have been touching.
No, but I'm talking like living. You know what I'm saying? Like fucking. It's like Stu Pickles. I lost control of my life. Like
Stu Pickles lost control.
Making pudding at
If
2 in
there's
the morning.
one thing you take away from watching the Rebuilds, I think that should be it. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I'm Stu Pickles.
Yeah, dude.
I'm way less cool than Stu Pickles. I don't have a house in the family.
He was an inventor for his job.
Yeah, he was inventing toys, man. That's crazy. But yeah, dude, I highly suggest if you're an Evangelion fan and you have not watched the Rebuild movies, you definitely should. If you're not an Evangelion fan and you haven't seen any of it, you should watch it.
Again, not on Netflix. Go to the high seas, get the original ADV dub/sub, and do that.
Or if you happen to get really lucky and come across the original black DVD box set or the Platinum Edition, get that. The Platinum Edition, though, is really hard to find. It's like, I just saw a listing on eBay
pretty
for like
expensive.
$500. Yeah. Anybody? Or
I have one sitting on my desk right now.
Oh, God. I think Mario's got one, too.
It's a little dinged up, though. Mine's not in mint condition, so.
But yeah, anyways, Nick, I'm happy you watched it. That's awesome. Now we can move on.
Say the line, Sam. Say the line at the end of it. Congratulations.
Congratulations. Actually, yeah, I'm not even gonna say anything.
That wasn't part of the rebuilds. I never said that.
They never said, yeah, but I'm not
Come
even.
on, Shinji, let's go. That's what they say.
Yeah.
They said in Chris Pratt voice, "Let's-a go."
Chris Pratt voice.
Go watch Mario.
But that's been Nick, and thank you, Kai,
Absolutely.
for coming on again. And we've been the Anime Summit Podcast. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.